Got the money in the bank. Hit you with the bank. Hit you with the 808. Money in the bank.
Hi guys, and welcome back to our second and last series of the day between Global Esports Phoenix and SCYTHE NWJ. And after that series number 1 that we had, Raph, I don't know if anything can top that those 3 maps, but I mean, Global Esports Phoenix, SCYTHE NWJ, I think, you know, I speak for all of us when I say we're expecting another close series.
I think so too, and you know, just to kind of brush up on history from the previous interview. Pardon me, Delbisky and the crew has actually qualified from an elite before, so I'm glad our players are still staying young and spry, unlike me, getting
unlike us
up there in the numbers apparently, which is a mortal reminder to enjoy every game and every series we have on for the rest of elite, because it's as Ray Richu mentioned, it's going to be very, very difficult to top off what we saw. I think in terms of unpredictability, definitely, because it was also stated in the interview, you know, they just kind of take it slow, maybe take it to sunset, but you know, on to the next series, I suppose.
Yep, on to the next series, and it's on to the G intro video. The roster for GE Phoenix on your screens: Amy, Kiri, Meow, 16K, Muffin, Loop, as well as Rose. And GE Phoenix, you know, kind of being another one of those teams coming into Elite with a little bit of roster changes here and there. We did see them, you know, kind of struggle on Tuesday on day number 2, getting 2-0'd by Full Sense Sapphire. Not really sure, you know, if it's maybe that the squad hasn't had enough time to practice with Amy on the roster. Of course, in between the last tourney and right now, Bela was let go, Amy is new. So yeah, there's a bit of a question mark, I think, for their performance for Elite this time around.
I understand where those sentiments are coming from, and especially how difficult it is to adjust to that type of environment. And you know, one roster change can butterfly into something else, or rather just a completely different chemistry, but we are still hopeful for GE Phoenix to really pop off this time around.
Yep, to rise from the proverbial ashes. This is, of course, their last chance to do so. It is elimination on the line, do or die, but we will see the intro video for SCYTHE NWJ. Crescent's Lynn, Yamori, Ophelia, and Sky Elise going to be the roster for today. The only full Indonesian squad that we have left in the competition. Been running pretty much the same roster for most of the year. I think Marsh has, taken a step back this time around from Elite, but Scythe always with that 5-6 member squad this time around. They're honing in on these 5.
That they are, and with their previous performance, despite the loss against RRQ, they look very impressive. It looks like they could go toe-to-toe in terms of firepower, and everything just looks much more refined for Scythe here, which is really pleasant for all of us, and maybe just for some of the Marche fans there, a little disappointed to not see her play, because she's been very stable for that roster for quite a good minute, but I'm sure she's happy that the team is in great and capable hands right now, which I think would make this series yet another long one, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, boy, oh boy, I thought that this series was like the one that had the highest chance of going to 3 maps, but that was before we saw the earlier series in the day. Like, if I were a betting woman, I would have put money down that this one for sure is gonna go the distance. But we do have the map veto on your screens. It will be map 1 Bind, map number 2 on Haven, and if we do go to that decider, it will be on Split. So very run-of-the-mill. I think these are very standard picks for both of these teams. They're pretty much some of the most played maps that we have from both of these squads.
Yeah, pretty standard, and you talked about betting, but to quote Black and Blue, I'm pretty poor right now, so I'm not gonna do that.
That was my favorite line from Tuesday. Like, I think Quack, right, asked Black and Blue, like, oh, okay, so, how's the team, like, can you describe, like, the situation for this team right now? And then BNB was just like, me, and there was a pause, and Quack was like, what do you mean? And then BNB was like, poor. Poor. But we've got the agent composition coming right up for this map number 1. Reina for the side of Scythe and NWJ, and Chamber for G Phoenix. Chamber is an agent that, like, G Phoenix is one of the teams that does tend to run Chamber on buying.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, they're one of the last remaining teams in APAC Game Changers that does run Chamber on Bind. So I'm glad that they take it out, that they're bringing it out here, because we don't always see it, and it's on Amy too.
Yeah, and I feel like Chamber is still a pretty decent pick, especially if you really want to push the tempo. I'm hoping that G Phoenix doesn't suffer the same problems they had in their previous series, and that they were quite utility shy for whatever reason. And hopefully with the Chamber, they're going to enable the rest of the squad to kind of pick it up and go online and avoid the snowball that could potentially be Sky Elise in this series.
Yeah, usually I would be really excited for Yamori to whip out the operator at any point in the game. Whenever she does do that, it's always a treat to watch. She is on raid this time around, so I'm not sure how much we'll be seeing of that. But if we did get a Yamori versus Amy, operator, Chamber, all sort of showdown, I would be super hyped. But guys, we're about ready to go into map 1, series 2 of the day. Taylor and Zach, take it away.
Thank you very much to our panelists, as they say in Indonesia. Terima kasih, dankeschön. What else? Maraming salamat. How do you say it in yours, Zach?
Oh, well, it depends on what language you're speaking, because India has
whatever language you know.
Of them, well, I can say gracias in Spanish, I can say shukriya in Hindi, I can say nandri in Tamil, which is my Indian language I actually speak. But India versus Indonesia, we got a regional war on our hands here between these two teams, and I think between us we covered 7 languages. The languages
See?
Taylor.
Miss Worldwide. Pitbull, never mind him. It's us nowadays. Global eSports is what we have here versus SCYTHE NWJ. Indonesia's pride, as we look into it, the only remaining, they said in the panel, as the Indonesian teams that we have right here. But again, whoever makes it out in this lower bracket still has that opportunity and still has that chance to make it to the championships, which will be in Brazil.
Yeah, definitely a lot on the line here for both of these mono regional teams. That said, though, I'm pretty surprised that GE ended up picking Bind as their map because this is one of, I gotta say, it's one of Sight's more successful maps in comparison.
Maybe
And
they
I
prepped
think
up. They
yeah,
did
maybe
VOD
they have.
reviews all
They've done their
night.
homework and stuff, but especially with their new player coming in, I'm hoping that they have done a lot of changes. You can already see Meow looking to get a little bit aggressive early on here. Satchel not gonna be really going through it. It's Sky Elise to find the damage. Still though, she's gonna be quite tapped up here. 1 HP is all that remains on the raise, and at least Amy able to find one, take down Orphelia. That's gonna be the controller gone. Carry with the refrag though onto Yamori, and suddenly things swinging in favor of GEX here as they just sweep through showers. Just 2 players left for NWJ now.
Little bit of a stuck up there since she's very low on HP, like you said. Now in a 4v2 scenario, they get the side to plant the spike. They don't know that Crescent is already creeping up through CD. I think Amy can actually see a little bit of the foreheads of the players here, but can they make a play that is 5 ahead for this round? Again, lamps secured, cleared out. They know it might be showers. Not yet quite sure when it comes to A short, but slowly and surely they're gonna find one on the corner. It's gonna be Lin taking on the first kill. The flash settles in. They actually cleared out showers. They go for the heal, and now it's all up to the last remaining player, Rose. She still gets 1 kill here. What? I'm dead. I cannot cast anymore. My brain is not braining.
I think that NWJ probably feels the same because that was a 2v4 they had no business winning, especially that push into showers. It was just so clean to come out of the NWJ side. It's unbelievable. Like, how do you find all of these kills? One enemy remaining.
That utility usage from the sky itself gave a lot of opportunity here for Scythe. The flash from Crescents was able to push out the 2 players and showers that tried to help out Amy here in the position. And again, classic free gun, by the way. The right click to the faces here definitely hurt a lot. And they have to be really careful about this. Now, with a pistol round going to NWJ, EX a little bit shaken here. So let's see if they can make it back. Elise can just go around, but still wanted to fight. She gets a double. Now it's time to follow the lead. That's the flash settling in and Crescents to crunch in the time.
Oh my god, it's just a slaughter there toward showers. 1 player John's alive now, 3 versus the world in the TP. Does a decent amount of damage to Lin, but not able to close out the kill. And just like that, it's the second round. A flawless to boot coming in for NWJ. That said, though, this is Global Esports' chance to jump back into this. They're going to be having their full buy coming in. And I think that while individually they've been able to do a decent amount of damage, as we saw from the pistol, it's just that their post plans, this is something that they've been facing throughout the year. It could do a little bit, it could use a little bit of work. And I think that looking at the way their Asian composition is configured towards this map with the Viper and the Brimstone coming into play, I think that post plant is going to be super important for that team with the utility that they have on board.
Sky flashes to get infill. They know someone is on B long. Not quite sure how many though, and you could already see Amy wraps around Sky Elise. Really deadly on this initial pickoff. They find another yet again and again and again for the side of Scythe. They get this pickoffs quite easily. They also mamba out quite easily as well. Meow, she knows there's someone on showers, or rather lamps here. And a 2v4 scenario, they do have the spike in their hands though, but it's only Muffin Loop and Meow though. She actually settles the deal. It's now a 2v2.
Really nice frags to come out, and it seems like Muffin and Meow, they've been the duo since the beginning, all the way back in their Asteria days. They're looking for a little bit more damage. They know that there's someone inside U-Haul, and they're gonna make the call to rotate quickly over towards that B site instead. There's still gonna be Sky Elise with the Vandal though to watch out for. She hasn't come through yet. The flash will reveal the position towards CT, and now it's just a full 2-on-2 that both of these teams have to play out. The overpeak though for Meow 16k, it's gonna be punished by Sky Elise. The final kill to come through for Crescent. And NWJ, they convert that bonus. Almost played perfectly towards the end.
These rounds that we're looking at is definitely that head-to-head aim duels that we are watching. Not only that, the duelists from both sides, actually, Sky Elise and we have Meow, they're just going head to head here when it comes to getting those amazing kills for the team, amazing pickoffs as well. Like we already assumed a while ago, it seemed like GX was having a difficult time, but Meow is ready to step on the gas pedal here to make something happen for the rest of the team. Can they make it happen for the next following rounds, though? It is a deficit when it comes to that economy. They do have pistols, but we've seen what pistols can do a while ago.
I mean, when you have Sky Elise just taking pot shots through the smoke and getting these kills, it's incredible. TV forced out of her teammate, but Sky Elise still playing spoil sport towards this B-long area. Lynn on the other side to find one of her own as well. Now just Kiri and Rose, the controllers of GEX left right now with TV fighting. This is an eco round, so not much to be expected, of course, but it's another flawless to come out. A 4K for Sky Elise here on the Reyna, and this is exactly what you do want to see out of your Reyna player, right? Just fracking out, using the dismiss to reposition, and continuing to just wreak havoc on your opponents. Exactly what you want to see to be coming out of your duelist Reyna player here. That said, though, GEX, they're going to be having their full buy coming in once again, and they're getting close to a lot of these snowball ults, the orbital strike, as well as a showstopper, both only 2 points away. And before they really charge into this round, it's going to be a bit of a timeout, I think, to come out of the squad.
Someone had time to warm up, I guess, huh? For that first series that we had a while ago. And that's first name Sky, last name Elise. 10-1 as the KD that we're looking at here. And like you said, having that Reyna gives her that opportunity to reposition herself as well. Herself, rather. But if you think about it, we've seen her peak showers a while ago and she could have dismissed, but still, she has confidence that she can get this double kills, sometimes a triple kill as well. Even on this round that we just saw, it was a 4 kills on her. So really huge, especially if Arena or one of your duelists could really step up to the table here, could really step up to the plate. Because obviously for Sky Elise, despite not having a support system from the team, she can still hop out of an engagement that she doesn't want to be a part of. But having Crescent's flash for her as well, that's a lot for GX so far to take.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this was the map where the whole chain flashing mechanic was kind of pioneered and perfected. It was way back when Breach had 3 flashes, and it was really just difficult to break through. But now, it's say a similar kind of vein. It's the Sky as well as the Reyna flashes that GEX will have to break through. A little bit of a default coming out from them. They've been pretty aggressive so far in these first couple of rounds, and now they're looking to slow down the pace a little bit. Early kill from Muffin, though, that's going to do quite a bit of damage to Crescent. However, she's not ready for the second player. Sky Elise just holding the off angle and showers a free kill that goes untraded for the side, and now once again they have the advantage despite the full buy for GES.
It do be this choke point hold towards shower, especially coming in from Sky Elise, that they just couldn't break down. The wall is just too high for them to take. But it is a 1-to-1 trade. There's no more smokes for the side of NWJ for the time being. At least this gives them another opportunity, but opportunity awaits as Yamori gets the kill on the paint shells.
Yeah, just really nice.
Don't know how that happened, but it did.
It just completely cut them off, and there was nowhere that Horame could really go. No TP setup either, so that's gonna be a huge kill for NWJ to keep the numbers up as GE. They concede the side to GE, but it's still going to be them ready for the retake here. Rose finally looking to get that spike down. Meow 16k looking to push a little bit more aggressively into elbow. In fact, the rest of the team gotta be following in her footsteps here, so it's gonna come down to the timings on this fight. Meow finds it. That's the first opener that GE really needed in this 3v3 situation. Now the flame already on its way though towards long Sky Elise, not knowing she takes out Rose, and now it's just 1v3, no position for Kiri to make some kind of magic happen, and NWJ they get to 4.
It's already the 5th right now for NWJ. 5-0, very clean rounds that we're looking at here, and for GX, it seems like they're having a hard time finding space on the map and being more comfortable roaming around it as well. Sky Elise was able to wrap around B long here quite easily, And she's not afraid to take on the duel. She knows that she can win the engagement, and that confidence is what she's having right now. It just oozes through other teammates as well to be more confident in making those shots happen. At the end of the day, you can't win the engagement even if all the utilities connect. If you can't defuse the spike, it's not gonna be a win. But for NWJ, they get everything: the defuse, objectives, the kills.
Yeah, they're excelling across the board here. In particular, it probably helps when your arena is having a game like the one that SCYTHE is having right now. Really nice positioning overall. Now Showstopper though from Meow 16K to find the space, gets the kill onto Yamori. A second one to come out from Muffin Loop as well. And now the Viper's Pit gonna be invested to boot by Rose to make this round a little bit more viable. Numbers in GE's favor. Muffin Loop with the push out as well finds the timing onto Oriophilia, and that's the kills that GE really need to extend their lead further on the site. 4v2 situation. They still have the orbital strike to work with as well if necessary. The flank from Lin, it might decide how this round plays out, but she just has no information to work with. Has a molly at least to try and smoke out the angles, but Kiri just on that position, and just like that, it's gonna be Lin taken down to boot. Crescent's now in a 1v4, and she might just opt to save.
Save, she has lots of money, not a problem, but the shotgun, the judge, right in your face. Rose is ready to take on the action. First point for the side of global esports here. And you can definitely see that alone, or when it comes to mechanical skills, GX can definitely hit their shots. It just comes to having that good of an execute to really push out enemies or really push out players from NWJ. And if SCYTHE, for example, gets on or keeps on getting that initial pickoffs and just can go away after the dismiss, that's what makes it difficult for GX. But when it comes to execution, I think they're having more of a grip on how to take these rounds that we are looking at. SCYTHE again moving forward, goes for the spray, and this wall actually blocks her off.
Yeah, it kind of isolates the fight. I don't think she was ready for Kiri on the other angle with the off position, so that's a huge kill. However, Yamori again with the pain chills, just doing so much damage. Gets taken down though in GE. They found safety in numbers once again. Then they've learned from their mistakes in the first couple of rounds as well. You can see that their spacing has gotten much better and they're able to just play together as a squad. Now, Muffin Loop has been taken out, which means there's going to be no more heal available for Meow.
Last player
But
standing.
it's once again a 2v4. Make that a 1v4 as Kiri hits an absolutely nutty shot from across, down short. It's just down to Crescents. Last time around, it was her in a 1v4 as well. She got taken down by the judge from Rose. This time, GE, they are so spread apart and just not willing to concede any more of the weaponry that they have in their arsenal. It's just Crescent looking to find whatever damage she can. At least takes the first down onto Kiri, but the distraction is there and Rose takes her down in turn. 5-2 now, GE, they stabilized a little bit.
Slowly but surely stabilize, as we call it as well. And we all know how difficult it is to entry when it comes to binds, especially when you have a good defense team like NWJ showing right now. But if you can isolate fights here and really play out with your team into trying to maximize those utility plays that you can use, can make you more get, or rather can make you get more rounds than what you're planning to. But it seems like Yomori's paint shells have like a magnet of some sort or something like that. It just kills. This is already the second time it killed someone.
We need to keep a counter for how many paint shell kills she gets throughout today. It seems like that's gonna be our objective.
Skill counter too.
I mean, she has Q2 kills and they're both paint shell kills, and it makes sense to me. Heat-seeking missiles, a little bit of a buff received by Yomori's paint shells, but that said, right, let's take a look at what we have from both of these teams. So far, it's been a banger of a game for SCYTHE, 13-3, by the way. I think that's more than any other three players on the server have together, objectively speaking. But I think that for on our team anyway, the 4GE side, they certainly look a little bit more clean. I think their executes have been a little bit hit or miss. The one that they pulled with the Showstopper was fantastic when it comes to spacing, as well as just being able to control a lot of the site. But apart from these powerful ults that they've been using to really push through, their normal setups, they need a little bit of work. I think that over the last couple of rounds, they've been better at team coordination. There have been a lot of more of those trades coming in, but they got to make sure that it stays the way for the rest of the game, because they can't really afford to make mistakes like that, especially when you consider that you are in that lower.
True that, and this is already the last opportunity for the teams that we have right here. And I also wanted to add, like, yeah, you're right. When it comes to Lamps a while ago, completely dismantled the defense here of NWJ, but that's with the help of a showstopper and also the Sky trying to, or Muffin Loop, clearing out Lamps with a helping out the players or Meow 16K. And if they continue to do this team plays that we are looking at, then this might go further for GX side. But we also saw Sky Elise overheating at some point. The wall here is actually from a Viper or from GEX's Viper, but she still pushes through and really tries to spray control from the last position that she saw someone, but nonetheless, she's all alone. And it's not always Christmas for her, you know? It's not always there.
Exactly. I think that it's been hit or miss. The first couple of rounds was a lot of hits coming in, very, very crucial headshot hits. But I think, like you mentioned, it's been a little bit more awkward in the last few rounds that we've seen. I think that has a lot to do with how GE have been improving themselves when it comes to those trades. Now Tour de Force online for Amy as well. You're going to be seeing it coming out right off the bat as they look to take the engagements down towards B long. Early flash though from Crescents will once again detect the presence of the GE players towards this B long area. The Viper split as well by the defenders has been put down towards short, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult for GE to really push onto this A side. And you can see the rotations as well, the readjustments from NWJ to put a little bit more presence towards B instead. But GE themselves, they're still looking towards the A side as their point of entry.
They're still playing for picks here. And obviously, you also have Kiri with the orbital strike ready. Really huge if they want to clear out any angle, for example, Lamps. But it's a Viper's pit waiting for them. So I'm not quite sure if they're really ready to contest this. But so far, this dog at least finds one, maybe sees Amy, not quite sure with that, but you see very slow-paced movements here from GEX. They're expecting a push, maybe from Sky Elise, because she's been doing that for the past 7 rounds.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, but the clock gets run down already. 30 seconds left. G, they have to make a move, and it seems like the spike itself, it's headed towards this Viper's pit. I'm not entirely sure about the decision. Emperor's gonna be popped now in by Sky Elise in that backside. Gets the first kill for free. No trade available for the G squadron, and it's still gonna be Flynn and Sky Elise. The crossfire too much for G to break through, and the damage, it's been done. There's just nowhere, no home to be found, no safe spot for G at all, and it's Amy in a 1v5. The clock having run through with the shorty. She might at least be able to find something, but Lynn, perfect headshot to take her out, and it's a flawless round for NWJG. They just wasted so much time, and when it came down to attacking, it was the Reyna once again to stop them. 15 now for Sky Elise. That's a 5 KDA.
And you see from the rounds that we saw a while ago, Sky Elise just kept on pushing, and I feel like GX was gauging on this aggression that Sky Elise has been showing from the previous 7 rounds. But she also changed her pacing. She stayed put, she relaxed a little bit onto the side, and with that amount of time, 30 seconds remaining, just a little bit of a delay coming in from NWJ can already break the take that GX wanted to go. And like you mentioned a while ago, not quite sure why they decided on A, knowing that there was also that Viper's pit that they had to clear out. Speaking of clearing out, though, they cleared out the hookah here for this time around. Lynn, she knows there might be someone else there, but this is already one pick off away.
Orbital strike still online for Kiri. 1 pick in favor of NWJ, like you mentioned here. G looking to push into this B side through hookah, and it's gonna be the molly to try and cut Lynn off here. A counter to come through, and it's gonna catch all of these players. Still though, Amy and Rose, they're able to do so much damage. 2 kills of their own, bringing it down to a 3v3. Oreophilia with their own orbital strike, looking to hit the planter, take it down possibly, and Rose, she'll be able to run away, but that's gonna deny the plans, buying the space for the push off the side. Yamori now with the full bot instead of her usual patience to find the kill, and it's just Muffin Loop in a 1v3, gets the first one. Showstopper invested though by Yamori to deny the possible clutch here, and now it's just the 1v2. Muffin Loop, she goes for the push in through CT, but Oriofilia, whereas always, will take her down. 7-2 now for NWJ, and while they had to invest at least 2 ultimates to hold on to the round, hold on to it,
Always ready with that pre-fire angle as well. They did a good job trying to take side here, but again, you have players like SCYTHE that is ready, stop you on your toes. And Yamori, she has a total of 3 kills here. 2 Pixels and 1 Boombot. So might as well, I think she doesn't need to buy any Vandals anymore.
Yeah.
And just throw it to the teammates that she has, and then just use her utilities.
I think if she can get through this game without really getting any kills with the gun, I'll be pretty
cool.
impressed. That'll be really
That's gonna
cool.
be a first for VCT, right?
Yeah, it's a record. No weapon challenge. Hashtag just raise utility. Now though, it's gonna be GU once again looking to contest on this B side of the wall, cutting off these players, and it's gonna be SCYTHE and Lin once again to find these crucial openers. Muffin Loop able to strike back, find a little bit of vengeance for her fallen teammates, and it's going to be a 2v4 now. Muffin still though stuck in the corner, has to be careful with the timings here. 1-for-1 trade on the A side, and now it's all down to Muffin Loop. She's able to pick up the orb, will have the Seekers in 1 kill or 1 spike plant, but in the situation, she doesn't really have any information as to where the players are still positioned. Knows that there are 2 on B, but that's more than enough time for the B position here. SCYTHE, she misses the timing, but here's the gunshots. Muffin looking to push the advantage here. The flash, it connects, and now she has to isolate these duels somehow. It's not gonna happen though. Once again, the debuff from the Viper wall is more than enough for Lin to get that kill, and it's 8 for NWJ.
They do have Lin for that first contact, and SCYTHE basically just needed to wait for that contact to happen before she hops out. I'm not quite sure why they dry peeked the wall from the Viper. Not even a satchel in play, to say the least, for Meow 16K to try and make an entry happen here. But having or being not sure about the takes that you want to go on site, or no intel or no information at all for GX, it's not really that good of a decision to just hop out of the wall, knowing that you're gonna be disintegrated by that wall. Anyway, this is already that orbital strike being used to clear out lamps, and the satchel in play from Meow 16. She knows there's gonna be someone to shower, and NWJ is just giving that space. They want to play retake here.
I mean, Meow 16K though able to push up and find an opener here, but Oriofilia 2 of her own, looking for a little bit more, although Amy denies it. Once again, the Viper Spirit comes into play. This is what she needed to win that last round that we saw them invested in. Now though, they're going to be crunching through on all the sides. It's going to come down to timings for NWJ as they enter this Viper Spirit, and it's a perfect one here for Lin. She finds both Amy as well as Rose, and now it's just Kiri in a 1v2. The defuse comes through, the Molly doesn't connect, and NWJ, they're going to be able to find a 9th round on the board off the heroics of Lin. There's just such unfortunate timing for Global eSports, and really good awareness in that retake attempt from NWJ.
Yeah, at that point, Lin was just telling her teammates like, yeah, go kill guys, go make something happen there, and I'll go from behind and make them just focus on you. It was successful, and she was able to take on 2 kills here, and that Molly not connecting gave that pressure to Kiri to really peek out and try to get on a kill and maybe save the round for them. But it didn't happen that way, or didn't happen the way they liked it to be. 9-2, it's gonna be the score line here, and for GX, still very rough time trying to make a side take happen, especially with the new Viper Spit set on B.
Yeah, I mean, the last time the Viper Spit, it was down on A short, and you saw the kind of delay it produced in the GE side. Now they look to rotate instead. They've learned their lessons at least. They're not willing to really push into it and deal with the kind of damage that it causes. quick rotation over towards A side. No ultimates really close except for Amy's toward the horse. Meow 16K could pick up the showstopper though, and that will be exactly the case. GE could use that to make that space once again into sight. They're going to be going down towards short instead, a bit of an A split that we're possibly seeing. And there's a 3-person stack from NWJ on the side. Again, they rotated another player over for this exact eventuality. Great lurk from Amy though.
Yeah, finally able to pick up a kill here and reposition herself with the rest of the team. I do like that they're trying to go all together in this, especially you have a showstopper ready for Meow, and that's gonna be popped out. This is again a deja vu from what happened a while ago. Can Amy though get the kill? Yes, she can. That's towards SCYTHE as well. 3v3 situation. This ult has been used. The orbital strike trying to delay. 9 seconds remaining to plant the spike, and this delay actually might have worked in their favor. 4 seconds. They know they've won this round already. It's just a matter of time, and Amy goes down.
That is so unfortunate. 10-2 half though to come through for NWJ. And talking about GEX in that last round, it seemed like they held the cards, but just that orbital strike, it demolished them apart here. That said though, now we're going to be having the side swap. Before we jump into GE's defensive half, let's see what our panel has to say.
Thank you, ladies. Starting out 5-0 for SCYTHE, ending 10-2 in their favor. And it just seems as if GE are having trouble cracking through the SCYTHE defense.
That's exactly what's been happening, and you know, GE, despite trying to go for those heavier hits, I feel like in a perfect world, or what they were trying to execute is that Amy would get a free pick with her rendezvous, and obviously just the nature of chamber. But what we saw was just a lot of patience from SCYTHE. You know, no matter what happened, no matter what type of set play Global would throw at them, they were very willing to let the retake happen and just kind of not give up the early numbers advantage. And you know, having SCYTHE kind of go crazy on those first few rounds also was a bit of a confidence blow towards Global, because again, they were really trying to find a way to condition the defense into overreacting, but even freezing them at a site was just not possible. They couldn't get anything going when it comes to just these super heavy hits, these super 5-man pushes on the sites, and it just really didn't bear fruit up until they would use 2 or 3 ults, which is obviously not very sustainable in this type of competition.
GE's going to have that chamber on the defense side after the switch. Do we see that as helping them out to maybe go for the comeback? What do we think?
I think, yeah, Amy's definitely gonna play a pivotal role, especially when it comes to trying to ruin that setup for SCYTHE. Especially they don't have any real sentinel to cover up the flanks, but once again, it's a bit of a mystery for our casters to explain to us in a while.
All right, well, never back down, never give up. Map 1's not over yet, and we're gonna see how this one ends.
Thank you very much to our wonderful panelists, and I believe that Rirachu is right. It's not over until it's over, and there's still some semblance of hope for GE on this map, because it is only an 8-round deficit. I say that in quotes. We've been seeing a lot of insane comebacks come back throughout today, and hopefully that might be another one for the GE supporters if they are hanging around in the chat. That said though, 10-2, it's been a dominant showing from SCYTHE, and now with them switching over to the attacking side, if they go for those fast and heavy hits, it seems like there's nothing that can stop them, and it's a 5v5 push. Look at that map. It's 5 versus 5 on short, it seems like. What?
Never back down, never what? That's gonna be the question. And as you can see, actually, SCYTHE is the prime that we are looking at here. But if you think about it, Lynn is already the top fragger at this point. We've seen her step up and catch up with SCYTHE here. Yamori trying to clear lamps, but then again, run away. That's gonna be that Brimstone, but still caught off guard. 3v2 situation as Muffin Loop and Amy tries to contest and control a side, but I think they would rather go for pickoffs here, and pickoff is what Orgophilia does.
Just the awareness from Oreo, washes for the flame, catches the player, and now that they know exactly where Muffin is towards showers, they're just happy to book it over towards the B site instead. A 1v3 to deny NWJ their 11th round on the board, and it all falls onto Muffin Loop. She does have a flash to work with as well as the ghost, but not much else here, unfortunately. You can see her powering forward, looking to take these fights, but NWJ, they're just not giving her any kind of information, just a flawless post plan to come in. And she has to seek out these duels by herself 1v1, especially if you look at how far apart they're playing for the completely open plant.
They don't want that same thing, same scenario to happen from what they had in the pistol a while ago. But on G's side, the Muffin Loop doesn't need to see anyone else's possession because Yamori is now getting the kills here. No more Boombot kills, no more Pagel kills. It's enough. It's time for the guns to come out. And she was really able to clear out showers here and a lot of spaces for the side of NWJ.
Yeah, definitely agree. I think that the fact that it was number one really good utility use to come out of the side of SCYTHE, but more than that, they were really aware throughout. Like Oreophilia's timing to check for the flank because she heard that TP when that round begins, so her timing was just impeccable to clear the flank out and ensure that the team doesn't go down. That said, though, GE, they're staring down a possible match point here. You do see a little bit of a buy coming in fact, a heavy investment despite that round loss. A stinger in the hands of Curie, a Spectre for Rose, and a Bucky for Meow 16K. You can already see Amy playing a little bit more aggressively. If they don't check her and she gets an opening frag, it might be huge, but again, it's just...
they don't
check!
They don't know! Oh, she doesn't go for the rendezvous though. She tried to get on double kill and now the shotguns to the face. Meow to actually get a double. A 3v2 scenario. Maybe that investment works out in their favor, Zach.
Yeah, the kind of heroics you really need. Meow somehow being able to get 2 with the Bucky there is insane, but 2 she does get, and Oreo is quite tagged up as well, so definitely around the G can convert with the numbers that they have. Muffin alone on the B side will be watching for the possible rotation, but A does seem to be where the spike is eventually headed. You can see that Lin is taking showers control, making sure that there's nobody really being a pesky lurk around the corner, and with that being the case, they might still be looking to put pressure on this A side. 2 players from GEX still playing around towards U-Haul. Curie holding it down, and the spike itself, it's going to be making its way on side, but look at how much space Lin's taken.
She knows. She already saw someone. She knows there's going to be someone on CT. That's going to be the timing that they're looking for. Lin secures the kill. Oreophilia alive and kicking. Muffin Loop. She has to loop out literally all the way here from TP. They've heard her. It's either showers, it's either a short. There's 2 players remaining from NWJ. Can take up space at a time. She still has 1 flash to play around. She knows where the Viper is gonna be, but Lin already spots her out. Oreophilia and Lin will be playing alongside each other. Bait and switch works out in their favor, and now a match point.
Match point indeed, and they invested everything they had in that previous round. I don't know what their economy is going to look like here, but it's a high possibility. They made it so close as well, especially towards the end. It came down to this particular kill. I think that the fact that Lin was able to find Rose there, Oreo with the second follow-up as well into U-Haul, they were just so meticulous about taking up that space and finding that information before really showing their hands. So an excellent round to come out of NWJ's side. That said, for GEX, they're still able to put together some semblance of a buy, but it's very awkward. And now Yamori, she's looking for a little bit of shotgun revenge with that judge purchase.
They do know for NWJ, they do know exactly what fights to take on as well. They wouldn't go for those solo fights. They would rather be really working on that 2v1 situation and use up a bait and switch and make a trade happen. And this is what is basically getting them those rounds, those important rounds that they have to take. Now we're down to their last round. If they make it, Lin already pushing forward. The Battle Vipers definitely here. Amy to spot her out. A good trade scenario so far, and that removes at least one of the smokes that we have. Is Kiri gonna go down in this judge? Yes, she will. That's Yamori for the kill. It's Sky Elise to go crazy. Oreophilia for the next, and now it's all up to Amy to make something happen in a 4v1.
Absolute heroics, but it's not happening today as Sky Elise to close things out here for NWJ as they take map 1 in dominant fashion. 13-2, I believe, was that final score, and a major part of that, it could be attributed to the performance of Sky Elise, who I think dropped a 20 bomb by the end of it, which is pretty impressive considering that game was 15 rounds in total. That said, though, it's gotta be heartbreaking for GE because they seem to really struggle, and remember, this was their map pick, so they were kind of in a position where they needed to win it, and now they're looking at they're just one map away from being eliminated in this elite. They have to power through on map number 2.
They do. That is what they need to do, literally. The next map is actually picked by SCYTHE NWJ as well. This is just complete showing of dominance from the side of SCYTHE NWJ. And so far, I already can assume what will happen on the next map. But let's see if GEX can come back to this. Let's hear what the panel thinks about map number 1. So I'll pass it on to Ray Rafju. Take it away.
SCYTHE were ready for today. They saw the stream delays earlier and said, we got your back. We're gonna bring this back on track, back on schedule. And GE, they're going to need to reach deep to stop themselves from getting too old, because at this point, they're getting cleared hard by SCYTHE NWJ.
Oh man, I mean, like, just kind of watching that last 2v4, 2v5 unfold, it was a little heartbreaking on the side of the GE fans. I mean, honestly, watching it unfold, it was a testament to the mastery of SCYTHE and the faculties and the individuals they have on that roster. But at the same time, I feel like it is a bit of a fundamental gap on the side of global esports to allow something like that to happen. Obviously, they didn't want it to happen, but NWJ, they're having a really, really good day finding all these spots. And on that attacking side, when they didn't have a sentinel to, you know, to kind of hunker them down and just allowed a lot more movement for the group, it just kind of put global esports in a bit of a mix-up, really. It just felt like the defense was guessing so much and forcing so many fights, again, on that very, very short half.
Yeah, and you know, we talked about how Amy would have to show up on the chamber in this map number 1. She is the top performer on her team this time around, but it's just not quite enough. You've got Sky Elise 20 and 8 just absolutely fragging it out on the squad of SCYTHE. Lynn also definitely worthy of a mention, 19-6, 329 ACS on the Viper, and Aurophilia too, 15-7 on that Brimstone. And as Zach said, right, this map only had 15 rounds. The fact that you can rack up this amount of kills at these numbers, that's just nuts.
It really is. And again, SCYTHE, I love the confidence from them. No matter what type of situation they got themselves into, no matter what type of player deficit they had coming into the round, they were very calm, very collected, and just really reassessed their options. And again, Global, perhaps they still need a little bit of time to warm up and get things going and maybe, just maybe, stretch the series out. But SCYTHE, if they can keep this form up, it's going to be really, really scary for Global Esports Phoenix.
Yeah, absolutely. And usually, like, this usually tends to go one of two ways, right? Because for G Phoenix and for SCYTHE NWJ, you know, they've been waiting quite a while for the earlier series to finish. And generally, you know, some teams, the longer the previous series takes, they kind of cool down a bit, and then it takes them like a bit longer for them to warm up. But I just can't believe how on form SCYTHE look straight out of the gate. And there's the MVP, very well deserved, going over to Sky Elise on the Reyna. I know you love this agent, and mine's one of the few maps that we really, you know, tend to see the girls bringing it out a bit more. So I'm sure you're happy.
Of course, Reyna is not bad agent. You know, strong, shoot head, kill everything, and I feel like that was the directive for Sky Elise. And another thing that we have to bring out, or rather kind of put into the forefront, is despite Sky Elise being as aggressive as she was, it was never to compromise the positioning of her teammates. It was never in a way where it would be suboptimal to do what she did. But in any case, hopefully we can see Global bounce back. Again, they have talked about, you know, really putting themselves in a position where they can grow from all their experiences. So hopefully we're going to see more of that coming into the series later.
Oh, for sure. Map 2, it is going to be on Haven. Was not their map pick, but it is the most played map for Global Esports Phoenix. So if there's any map that they can hope to mount that comeback on, it's going to be Haven. Guys, we've still got at least one more map left for today. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
money in the bank. Hit you with the hit you with the bank. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Bang to the break, bang to the break, bang to the break, bang, 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 bang. I'm a boss, and you know that I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank, 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 bank. Got the money in the bank. Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the hit you with the bank. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Bang to the break, bang to the break, bang to the break, bang,
Welcome back to the all-important map number 2, Do or Die for GE Phoenix, their most played map. They have to win this one if they want to bring this to that map 3. Whew, Raf, how we feeling? It's been a long day.
It has been a long day, but you know what? With what you said earlier, with your analogy, if they don't win, they're gonna lose. So that's true. You know, that's exactly it. That's the 1+1 of the situation.
Look, I said a bit more than that. All right? That's true. That's when it comes down to it. You know, Valorant's a simple game. You click it, you win. You know.
It's true, and honestly, kind of going into this one, we're still hoping for Global Esports Phoenix to just really come alive here because SCYTHE is in full swing. They're looking so aggressive and they're looking so clean. And as Zach and Taylor said, it just looks like they're doing no wrong at this point. Hopefully, Haven is going to be a bit of a turning point, but you did mention this is one, if not the most played map of Game Changers, and we might actually see maybe just a little bit more shine from our ladies over at Global Esports Phoenix.
Exactly, because map number 1, right? It seemed as if SCYTHE and NWJ that everything was going in their favor. Like there was no way that GE Phoenix could like heat check them even going into Haven. However, I think that there's that opportunity for them to maybe try and figure out their strats and have a better idea for like agent compositions and have a better plan going into this map number 2. I think Bind maybe a bit less played for them, but there's more of a shot in map 2. I mean, at this point, if you can't out-duel them, then you gotta figure something out as that team, and I think Haven might just be the map for them to do it on.
That's true. There's a lot of potential to outmaneuver a team macro-wise, especially on a map like Haven, where you can, manipulate and disjoint the entirety of the enemy team, especially with the way that the map is designed. And obviously, with me saying that, it's very attacker-sided. It's commonplace pretty much for teams to really try and pile it on the attacking side. And once again, we're just looking for that extra bit of polish on the side of Global Esports. But as Taylor also said earlier today in a different series, just take it step by step at a time, round for round, and just try to recover from the series and not think about that first map too much.
Yeah, exactly. And we do say that this is the most played map for GE in Game Changers Pacific. However, I took a look at some more stats for them. They do only have like a 50% win rate for Haven out of like 20 something times that they've played this map. SCYTHE has played Haven around 21 times. It is their like top 3, top 4 most played for them. So not the most, but they've also got a fair amount of games in. They also have like a 57% win rate over 21 maps. So not the most convincing for either of these teams. I think there's a lot of potential there for GE to try and make that upset happen. Talking about Asian composition that we may see this time around, you think SCYTHE maybe gonna pick up that Reyna again? We do see it sometimes on Haven. What do you think?
I think that's possible. I think they're open to the idea of, SCYTHE playing on a super snowball agent like that, especially with her opening performance on Bind. But it wouldn't surprise me if they go for something quite standard, like a Breach Sova type of beat, especially when Global Esports are pretty much on the ropes at the moment. I feel like it's really on the side of Phoenix to kind of throw a curveball here, but it looks pretty standard, for both sides, really.
Yeah, close to the mirror matchup, just going to be Astra for GE Phoenix and the Omen for SCYTHE and NWJ, but the rest of the 4 on the Asian side is going to be absolutely the same. It's going to be the Jet, Sova, Killjoy, as well as the Breach. So pretty standard, as you mentioned. GE Phoenix this time around starting on the attack side, and they didn't have a great map 1, and generally when the team that drops the earlier map goes into attacking side on the next map, sometimes it doesn't end up the greatest because they're still at a bit of a low, so that's one of the things that I'm not a bit worried about.
Once again, you kind of have to like reset yourself. This is a different map, this is a different setting, so Again, this is pretty much a lot of global esports Phoenix fans really rooting for their team, and obviously us too, for a competitive series.
All right, well, here's hoping we do get to see that map 3. But before we get there, we've got map 2 coming up with Tayrar and Zach.
One last map, or are we going for isa pa, or in English, one more? That's what we're gonna be finding out for this next map. Zach, we've seen a difference, just a little difference that we have right here from the agent composition. Honestly, I'm a big fan of an Astra pick here from Global Esports. You have more utils to play around when it comes to post-plan positions. What about you?
I definitely agree. When it comes down to the post plant, the Astra is a little bit better than the Omen, but if you're on defense, that Omen is probably what you want on your side because there's just so many of these boxes that let you find that elevation to play around, and it's just that 1-2 punch that your opponents often don't see coming. So I think that both agents definitely have their pros and cons on this particular map. I personally do prefer the Omen just because I like emo Ghost Boys. No, I'm kidding, but I do like.
Will be the night. Oh, sorry, just took that out from my 13-year-old self. And also at the same time, I do like the Omen on the retakes though. Like that paranoia, especially on A, Gabi, is a lot. So let's see how they would play it out. Because like the panel said a while ago, Zach, when it comes to aim duels, NWJ might have the upper hand right now, but this map allows you to manipulate more when it comes to util plays.
Well, either way, it's going to be a pretty substantial bit of utility invested by GE right off the bat here. A side, it's been left over for retake as you so often see done on Haven. And already though, Yumori, she's able to find a kill with the Sheriff on the cross, taking down Muffin Loops. That's first blood going in favor of the NWJ roster. Rose able to get the spike plant down. Now GE positioned with that crossfire that is often so difficult to place. Break apart between CT and the corner. However, the dash is perfect. It's still going to be Curie to find the kill, and NWJ, they're getting these trades. Still going to come down to a 1v2 situation, though at the end, it's all down to just Curie, and unfortunately for her, she's not going to be able to do anything as Oreo shuts her down. A really quick, aggressive retake from NWJ that wins them the pistol.
Chaos is what they're bringing to the table here, and chaos started once that aftershock was thrown off just to clear out the angles here on Hell. 1-0, and NWJ is the one to take on the lead here yet again, like a deja vu from game number 1. They're going to be able to buy off immediately some Bulldogs, some Spectres, and Yamori to stick on to a Sheriff, maybe gauging on that operator anytime soon, especially on the defense here.
Yeah, I think that operator pick, it could definitely be crucial.
Never mind. She bought.
Well, we keep getting baited out, but you know, talking about the operator, I feel like we didn't really have a chance to see it come into play in that last map because of, well, how quick it went aside. I would like to see either Muffin or Yamori pick it up for this particular one, especially when you do have that jet coming into play. G once again looking to contest on this A site, but just utility being thrown to them, doing quite a bit of damage. In fact, Meow 16K getting tagged up to less than half of her HP. It's gonna force GE back just a little bit.
Forced, that is, for the side of GX. No Sky this time around. No heals. Nothing whatsoever. They have to reposition themselves. Not only that, but try and make a pickoff happen. They invested on Muffin Loop a Marshall here that could actually be a turning point when it matched, but no one is really showing themselves here. No one's giving info towards GX's side. They know someone is on mid without shots coming in from the Classic, but is it just to bait out players from NWJ side to make rotations happen? And it feels like it's going to be a rehit on A. This is going to be 4-1 split, 1 on sewers and 4 on A main, and 1 Sova on side might catch everything on this side.
It hasn't spotted anything else, but they're still gonna be lit with the Spectre, as long with their teammate. Crescent's doing some damage as well. The Sheriff shots still connect, but there's no time to get the spike down. GE, they have to plant her. It's all for nothing here. At least they're able to do some damage, but it still will be another round to come out of NWJ. GEX, they make it expensive. 3 players that they take down in the process.
Yeah, true. They take a lot of guns here from the side of NWJ, yeah, but in the end, a round is still a round for NWJ with a 2-0 right now. I do like this rehead on the side, but you have to give credit where credit's due. This stun from Crescents here is actually just perfect time or perfectly timed for the delay on the GX side, not letting them plant at all. And we are now back to the Technical Pause podcast.
Oh, well, it always seems to happen in our games. But talking about the Technical Cast podcast, or Technicast, whatever. I think that looking out for GE's side, they look a little bit more confident. They're willing to take these head-on peaks, and I think that Haven, because it's a map that's been out since the beginning of this game, it's something that teams have looked a little bit more practiced on. So I think that GE definitely, they've gone back to their early roots here, and it's a map that they've had mixed success on in the past before. So I think that experience, at least, it's gonna serve them in good regard. In fact, I do believe the last time that these two teams did face off exactly on this particular map, it went all the way to overtime. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that coming into play once again.
Overtime? It's like you're scaring me, Zach. No, but nonetheless, it's true. Like this map specifically just gives you a lot of allowance from attack, from defense. Might be an attacker-sided map because of that triple site, but in the end, if you have a really good teamwork, aside from really utilizing all those skills from the players or those agents that they have, a 2v4 scenario can actually have a win still, as long as you do and make a good retake happen. It what we call it in the Philippine broadcast, not quite sure here yet on Game Changers, is a retake map. It's like king of retake will actually make this map happen and make it yours.
Yeah, I think that when it comes to retakes, for sure, Scythe, they've definitely proven to look a little bit better today. I think we saw it on Bind as well in that first pistol. They just managed to pull together a completely unfair retake. It seemed like they had no business being able to win it out. But overall, I think that Scythe as well, if you look at the roster itself, it's a lot of players that have experience from a bunch of different teams. Of course, Oreo, she used to be on that Alter Ego roster. She joined Orangutan for a while in the middle, though I don't know if she ever actually got to play in an official Game Changers match while she was on OG. Nevertheless, I think that for Scythe, they do have a lot of experienced players really coming into this with spades. And also, I think this is a team that has made Elite every single year since Elite was a thing. They used to be playing under the name of Big Sight before this. So the fact that the roster, it's been very consistent, being able to make it to that top 8 since 2021, it's definitely something that proves that they are a team to watch out for. And for GE Phoenix, a little bit of history about them, more of a newer team that Global Esports decided to form this year, made it right before Open 1, I believe. And it's a team that actually held open tryouts to really pick up the players that they did now. So it was pretty fun to watch the action, see how the players did get signed. And despite them having a little bit of a up and down performance this year, the fact that they did make it to Elite, despite all the challenges in their that they have been facing, I think it's a pretty good testament to the potential that this roster does hold in the future, at least.
Yeah, it already says something. And being here on Elite, especially for all the teams that we have right now, even getting out of that last chance qualifier from our players a while ago, like Nick Say and MLT, it's already a big statement for what's to come, especially in the next following years that we have here in Game Changers. But I also do wanted to add with what you were saying about Scythe as well. I really think that they do gel well together, especially when it comes to making use of those utility plays. But not only that, they know what fights to take, and also what are the chances or what is the stats of them winning. Basically, having that 2v1 scenario, they would rather really go for that bait and switch and make sure that trade in happens. Comparing so far, this is what I'm saying in my opinion, so far for the first map that we just saw a while ago, it seems like GX is still trying to wrap around the terms of when to make a retake, or not a retake, but a trade in happen. There's that slight little delay that we are looking at into trying to mesh together as a team. And I feel like if they find that footing in this game, in this map, we might be seeing a map 3.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be important for those trades to keep coming in because, like you mentioned, so many of the rounds that we saw in Bind, right? It's what it came down to. Even if GE had an advantage, like the 4v2 in the pistol, or so many of those 3v2 or 4v3 situations that they had the advantage in, they just were not able to trade things out. And so often you would see, for example, a 3v2 turn into a 1v2 by the end of it, and no real damage done to the players to boot on top. So I think that for GE, those trades, they're definitely going to be a huge factor, as well as just a little bit of better utility usage, because so many of the times on Bind, if you noticed, you saw the players pulling out utility at the wrong time, or just not being aware as to
Timing,
how
yeah.
many how many players from NWJ are on the site. So I think that GE, they're gonna have to definitely try to improve their timings as well as trades for this map, because look, it's Haven. At the end of the day, it's a map that you already know pretty much in and out if you've been playing this game for any amount of time. It just comes down to your individual performance. And GE, they definitely have the potential. They just gotta really let it shine through.
And also, like, talking about the Asian composition here that we have, and even the players themselves, we have Sky Elise on that Killjoy right now. And she was the Reina, if you guys just tuned in or can't remember. She was the Reina a while ago that was really hot on the shots, I would say. And we all saw what she is capable when it comes to aim duels. And being on a Killjoy here in this map, I am a Killjoy main, so
Hey,
that's
Killjoy
what I
mains
want to expect.
unite!
You have those lurks, you could catch people off guard, you could set up for the entirety of the team. Not only that, take care of the flag. You just have a lot of possibilities into playing alone with yourself, and having that good of an aim helps you a lot as a Killjoy.
As a killjoy who can barely aim myself, I agree. It really does help if you have good aim. But yeah, Sky Elise, I think that she does tend to play in that flex role quite often, and we've seen her on the killjoy before, so she can definitely be a menace on the site. I think that when it comes down to the composition, it's pretty much a mirror. Same duelist, same initiator, same sentinel. It's just the controllers that differ. So I think that definitely this Yamori versus Muffin Loop battle is what I am super excited about, because Muffin, I do believe she started off in that duelist position. You do see her playing more of that initiator flex role depending on the map. If GE does need a jet, it's usually her stepping up, but if it's the Raze, it's Meow who swaps around. So GE definitely have the flexibility when it comes to them being able to pick up the roles. They just need time to shine in them, and I think that Muffin Loop, if she can, that if they do have a pretty good attack side and and on defense, if she can get that operator online pretty early, it might be what GE need to power through this map.
Definitely true. Completely agree as well. And I think the viewers as well. I'm seeing a lot of hashtag GE fighting in the comment section below. And go send them in some energy here, because they actually need it right now if they want to make it to game number 3. And for the meantime that we have right now, as you can see in our podcast, let me just wear my glasses so I'm Taylor
Wait,
again.
I got mine too. Hold on. There we go. You look extra smart.
In
now.
our podcast, there's a little bit of a technical pause, as if I'm not mistaken, it's the jet that's not moving in the mini map that we saw a while ago. And I think we are gonna be going in for a bit of a break. And for the meantime, though, send the players your energy, send them all your love. May it be Scythe NWJ, may it be hashtag G fighting. They can see that, especially when they watch the VODs afterwards, and would love to see all that support come in. But right now, Taylor and Zach will bounce out, but we're gonna be right back later on. Don't go away, Valorant Game Changers APAC Elite will be right back.
me what you got. Show me what you got. Down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, God. Ain't no reason to back down, so step it up. God, down, up, back, 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 got the money in the bank. Hit you with the bank. Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the 808. Bang to the break. Bang to the break. Bang to the break. Bang, 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 bang. I'm a boss, yeah, you know that I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank. Bank, 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 bank. Got the money in the bank. Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the
We are finally back. After such a long wait, we are finally back here. Of course, game number 2, just a quick recap on what just transpired and what just happened for everyone who just tuned in. This is already the second series of the day and the second game actually for the second series as well. Match or series point rather for the side of NWJ. And so far, this first 2 initial rounds was able to secure, or NWJ was able to secure those 2 initial rounds that we are looking at. So far, NWJ also really looking pristine when it comes to those takes, not just on the retakes, but also on the attack as they are on point with the shots. Now it's all up to GE Phoenix on also making it happen when it comes to this map that we are looking at. GEX, can they make a comeback happen, especially in the series that we have? Again, Elite is that last step to make it to the champions of Valorant Game Changers in Sao Paulo, Brazil. We are looking at the lower brackets here. And from the match that we had a while ago, while we are still waiting for this game to basically start, we had Nyx Kyosei, we had MLT, but obviously Nyx Kyosei was able to secure that win instead, and MLT said bye-bye. But right now, that's just the update brought to you by Terror. See you guys in a few. We're just gonna go on a very short break, and I'll make sure the next time we come back, it's gonna be game time for the two teams that we have. Don't go away, because VCT APAC Game Changers Elite will be right back.
Got the money in the bank. Hit you with the hit you with the bank. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Bang to the break, bang to the break. I'm a boss, and you know when I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank. Bank, 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 bank. Got the money in the bank. Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the hit you with the bank. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Hit you with the hit you with the 808. Bang to the break, bang to the break, bang to the break, bang, 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 bang. I'm a boss, and you know that I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank.
Welcome everyone back to VCT Game Changers Elite and our matchup between NWJ and GEX. We appreciate your patience as we work through the various, well, as a tech team works through the various tech issues that we've been having today, but it is still Isaac joined by the amazing Terror to bring you the casting for this game. Bit of a recap, NWJ, they won the first couple of rounds as GE's full buy now, and while neither team has any ults ready to go, I do notice that Curie is only 2 off of 100 Fury.
Whatever Jonong says in the comment, believe him. That's the key, guys.
We love you, John. You're amazing.
It's finally happening. We're finally starting with our game number 2 yet again. We had 2 initial rounds that we are looking at here already, but it seems like GEX wanting to take control of C here. This smoke is stopping them to their toes though. Or Ophelia might need to reposition as this smoke may dissipate anytime soon. No one to contest on that, and I think they're quite aware there might be rotations happening.
Yeah, gee, they do indeed draw those rotations over. 3 players, almost 4 that were there momentarily towards that C side. But again, despite them making a little bit of noise towards C, they haven't really taken map control anywhere else. So it's gonna have to be a battle from scratch. You can already see the positioning once again coming out of the NWJ squad. G themselves, they put a smoke, at least a fake jet smoke towards that A short angle, possibly signaling a fake cross. Instead, it's gonna be C, where
30
Oreo has
seconds
already
left.
taken up so much space, tucking herself in close and personal as well. 1-for-1 trade so far, and that will be GE to find the opener they need to make their way onto the C side. Unfortunately, still towards backside. There's a heavy bit of presence. 1-for-1 trade again. Muffin, she finds another crucial kill, and Crescents will be forced to fall back, only Ghost in hand.
Revealing
GE, they have to get the plan down. 10 seconds left. You can see
One
that it's going to be a
enemy
time that's being brought
Spike
until
down,
the end, and it will be another bonus to come through for NWJ because the clock, it's just no time left for GE.
Brutal, very brutal coming in from side NWJ. To be fair, this one and done position from Ophelia, they're already having that advantage of taking in on the side. But with the pistols that they're handling on, the shots from the Ghost still connected. Not other than that, no one really pinged out when it comes to that recon. And they successfully just retake the side completely. Again, when you play around that kind of time, it was already a no mistake kind of scenario. It's either they plan or they just kill off everyone. Nonetheless, though, a 3-0, a good bonus coming in from NWJ.
Yeah, they're going to be feeling very happy about that. Kind of a repeat of what we saw in that previous map on Vines. Now, though, G, they have a Hero Guardian on Muffin Loop. Everybody else just playing with Sheriffs and other pistols. And Oreo, if this smoke goes, it's going to be such free heals available for her. But G, they're just playing timings to perfection. Muffin left once they have Garage Control to try and find a pick if necessary. And the rest of G, they're going to be falling back here to try and find some space, maybe on the opposite side. Muffin, she might be able to catch out the rotations with the position that she's holding, but she's gonna have to be a little bit more patient here. Oreo swings, gets the timing, and that's again first blood going in favor of NWJ.
They lose the Guardian as well that they heavily invested on when it comes to this round for that pickoffs. No one to make an entry happen. They have to really utilize all skills from the agents here. Then already preparing
seconds
shock
left.
darts. Left and right, she prepares it up. Also, that recon comes in when the retake is supposed to happen. Crescent's already getting a kill on that after shock as well. Already 2 players picked off away from GX. The good thing about this is at least they made a plan happen, and the pressure is definitely on Crescent to get a kill. Perfect flashes coming in from her as well. She's been performing when it comes to this map.
Yeah, I think this one, it's definitely Crescent's map, for lack of a better way to say it. Really nice flash utility coming out, and of course Rose was able to at least find one opener with the Sheriff, but that's all that GE will find, one pick for their troubles, and it's just going to be another round to come through. At least they got the plan, so it's going to give them a little bit more money to work with. But well, now that they have their full buy and a lot of these crucial snowball ults coming up, gee, they're going to have to try and convert this one properly. Not just very available for the post plans, maybe some zoning on site, as well as a rolling thunder for Rose. So if they want to use that to force their way forward, it seems to be the call. You can also see the adjustment coming out of NWJ, putting the Killjoy down towards the A side, expecting this fast push, and it's early long control being taken by Muffin as they look to go towards this A side on the back of the road.
Oh, the boost coming in from Muffin Loop to help out the teammates, securing that kill as well. Opens up the A side here
Spike
for them
planted.
to take. Spike already planted, but we all know that this map is for the Kings, or right now for the Queens of Retake. They do have that Rolling Thunder available for them to use. Yamori picks out one with the Operator as well. No one really smokes off Heaven here. Very open for them to take. It's already set up when it comes to that post plant, but Meow was able to still secure
One
one
enemy
on
remaining.
to the pickoff. That's gonna be Meow yet again for the double. Very important kills coming in from GEX, and I think this might be a round finally they are securing.
Yeah, Oreo looking to see if she can find anything else here, but again, GE, once they get that spike down, this time a little bit more disciplined. Post plant looking much more strong, and they are able to capitalize. Really nice opener though, to use the Rolling Thunder to set that crunch up towards that short player. It was just a slaughter, and GE, they find so many of these crucial kills. Meow with 2 of her own to get themselves the first round on the board, much earlier than the last map, I gotta say, and they still have that Cosmic Divide available from Meow 16K for a possible push in, and the Hunter's Fury still in Kiri's pocket.
A lot of util to play out around here on the side of NWJ. Just so happens to get picked off here by Meow. Yamori, though, really aggressive when it comes to positioning with the help of Crescent. Meow tried to make at least a trade happen there, but it was Crescent's to surprise her instead. That is the 3 kills that NWJ just exactly needs for them to make a big advantage when it comes to this round. It's gonna be quite difficult for Rose and Amy to take space, but they managed to pick up 1 kill, but quickly traded out by Rose here. The tap on the spike to lure out the enemies. She's gonna see 1. That's the kill that they're looking for. Might be still doable. Quite difficult though. That's the reload and caught off guard by Lin.
Very unfortunate. Rose able to find a couple of kills for herself, but that initial damage, that play coming out of sight, it was just unanswered throughout. Really quick approach onto long to find those 2 huge openers, and again, that's just the kind of value that the breach brings, right, to your team. There's just nothing you can really do when you're flashed and concussed into oblivion, and it's just testament to how NWJ has planned out their map. Now they have 4 ultimates ready to go if they need that possible retake to come in. The Rolling Thunder in particular from Crescent, it could easily play spoil sport. And while Muffin does have a Blade Storm of her own, G, so far at least, they've really struggled to find those opening picks.
This Blade Storm might be huge for the side of GX. They can get lots of kills from this. Might be able to win the round exclusively from the Blade Storm itself. Not yet including what the other teammates or what her other teammates can bring to the table. That's gonna be also the Hunter's Fury being used already just to make that delay happen yet again. This managed to pull off or push off players from GEX. I think at this point they're just wanting to lure out all the util play that that NWJ can bring to the table.
I think that the Hunter's Fury being expended early on like that, it's got both its pros and cons. The pro is that, well, for G's side, it's gone. It's no longer a problem that they have to worry about. But also the fact that G were able to find a kill onto Yamori there, who got a little bit aggressive on A. It's gonna tempt them to go for this A-side push instead. Amy won off of her lockdown, which could prove to be pivotal over the course of the round. Once again, though, GE, they've let the timer run out here. And Muffin Loop, she does the same play, the updraft, and the double kill for her efforts to be able to open up the A-side. Now, just 2 players left alive for NWJ here. They have the economy to work with, at least for Sky Elise, but in a 2v5, I don't know what they can really do.
Good entry so far coming in from GX. Crescent's also used up the Rolling Thunder already onto Sewers. And this allowed GX to just get control onto A main without having any worry on what util play they are going to be able to catch. But this is now all up to Aureophilia to make something happen. It's a 1v5 situation. Quite difficult, I suppose. Maybe go for the exit frags instead, but there's really no one to find around the corner.
Nothing to be found indeed, and it's just gonna have to be a save for Aureophilia. She's probably the one member on the team who doesn't have enough for a buy next round, so they're gonna be happy to hold on to that Phantom. Yeah, but that said, the rest of the side, they're still gonna be able to put together a full buy here in this next round. It is nice though for G that they managed to at least get both the Rolling Thunder as well as that Hunter's Fury out of the equation, so something much less that they have to worry about. We've said it before multiple times, it comes down to how well you can retake, and the fact that SCYTHE already burned through both of those ults, it's going to put them at a little bit of a difficult spot in this next round, especially since G still has a buy and also the Cosmic Divide ready to go here. I think if they can get that ult orb early on, it will let Amy have the lockdown ready to go, and it might just be the call to get the orb on C and then plant on A.
Placing swarm grenade.
Amy just controlling mid here, just controlling Lurk or anyone who wanted to push. Muffin Loop, on the other hand, Trying to see if she can see any traps coming in from the Killjoy, but look at this. This is already the alarm bot and also that nano swarm being set up. Smoke's coming in from Oreophilia. Again, GX, I feel like they're pretty comfortable playing around the time and being late on it as well. What a good stun and a good Hunter's Fury that allowed Kiri to make sure that they get the kill. That's gonna be Sky Elise going down. No more traps to cover up, or rather to cover that delay. But now with the ultimate, the lockdown coming in from the Killjoy, this would force NWJ to give up the space.
Yeah, they're gonna have to fall back, and the thing is that if you look at the HP, Oreophilia just has 1 HP literally, so it's gonna make it a little bit more difficult here on the retake. Still 4 players left alive technically for NWJ, but they're gonna have to cut through this GE post line somehow. Curie again, with the recon having refreshed, will be able to put it down towards CT by a little bit more time with it, and it will be GE just trying to find that first kill. However, Crescents and Yamori, they go huge here. Amy still duking it out on site, but now it's just gonna come down to a 1v2. It's gonna be the Astra to boot, pulls her off the spike, and that's more than enough time that's been bought here. Meow 16 for the final win, and GE, they find their third.
She knows she has done her job quite well. That pull, not allowing them to have the spike, secure the win for the rest of the team. But really, the first part of this take onto the site was that stun and the Hunter's Fury that was set up from Kiri. And this allowed the players to go in on the site. It was a 2v1, yes, but like we mentioned before this game started, having an Astra on your team helps a lot when it comes to those post-plant positions, and they pulled it off.
Now just one more round to break the economy for NWJ, kind of on its last legs. Yamori does have the blades to work with, so still gonna be a full buy coming in for that team. G though, back to their slower pace of play. They did burn through all their hulks last round, so nothing much else to work with here for them apart from firepower. It's gonna come down to the duels in this particular round, I believe. And G, they're just waiting for that aggression out of NWJ's side, because so far it's been that continuous push and pull that NWJ they have inflicted from their defender's side. And it's a tactic that's worked great for them as well, because even if they're not able to get those kills things by them pushing out, NWJ, they still get the conditioning in place that, look, you're not going to be, we might be pushing out, so you're going to have to hold on. And it's just so much time that GE ends up burning through at the end of it.
It does have its pros, it does have also its cons. We can see that on those rounds that a little bit of a delay already makes it a win for NWJ because of the time that GEX is playing around with. But sometimes it just works out really in their favor into luring out the util play from NWJ's side. Anyway, this is already the start from the drone itself. Muffin Loop already dashed in on the side. They need to clear out the back ends of the side here. Still not quite sure, but NWJ is happy to give up the space for a retake to happen.
Gee, they've extended it further into garage. It's gonna be huge here. However, Lynn still finds her. The crossfire in garage, it just demolishes the GE players and takes down 2 of them just like that. It's gonna be Muffin Loop on site, still trying to find some damage, but it's gonna be nothing across the board. NWJ, they chime out. Impeccable retake, only losing Yamori in the process. So I think that's a round that they're gonna be feeling very pleased by.
You have to give it to Lynn. She moves like she's not being seen by the rest of the team of GEX. Too hyper-focused on that blade storm that Yamori had, and everyone else from Crescents to Lynn, the supporting roles here, already taking on or happily taking the kills instead. And a little bit of a diversion is what we can say from Yamori's side. 6-3 is the scoreline that we have right here, and so far for GEX, not really great when it comes to that economy. 2 players forced into half shields, half armors here. But when you're playing against a Vandal, it doesn't really matter much. But right now, Yamori takes on 1, but decided to still try to make it 2 kills happen. Instead, she dies off into a 1-to-1 trade. But this breach is already gone out of the equation.
Yeah, one less thing to worry about. And the thing is, on defense especially, it doesn't matter as much if you do lose your duelist first, because it's not like you really need to take as much space except when you're in that kind of retake situation. So I think that it's going to be NWJ feeling just a bit pleased by that particular trade. Gee, though, it looks like they still want to make some kind of headway towards this ace side. Joan does spot out one player, and the defenders, they're still holding strong towards short. However, Amy on the lurk takes down Oriophilia, so that's a huge kill. No more smokes available, which means it's going to be much, much harder to play for retake. And with that additional pressure being applied towards mid and garage, it's going to force a rotation out of this A side and leave only Lin here alone.
You still do have the traps though. They know there's no one garage. They still have the alarm
30
bot.
seconds left.
Also, a turret here. It might be an A hit that they can already hear with all the utilities being played out. Meow securing the first initial pick-off here towards Lin. It's all down to the two players remaining from NWJ's side.
planted.
Trying to see if there's anyone lurking around, but really no one. One flash to play around with. Sky Elise, on the other hand, it's gonna be an engagement battle, but they have to cross or basically pick off the cross here. The play for contact on default as well. It's a lot of players left and right. The suck is definitely there. Kiri to go down first, and Meow. Muffin Loop, the cross works out favorably in the side of GX.
Yeah, they managed to put together a much stronger post plant here. And I think that when it comes down to success, unless they have the ultimates, they've been kind of struggling on that C side. And they do have the ults, of course. Those kind of turn it in GE's favor. But GE looks so much more confident when it comes down to the A side takes. And 6-4 here, I think we're going to be seeing a timeout called by the GE squad to make sure that they can capitalize on the advantage they've gained here. Economy finally going to be broken for NWJ Scythe, and this is GE's chance to really tie up the scoreline as far as possible. They still have the potential of that 6-6 half closing, and I think with that Cosmic Divide being online for Meow 16k again, it's definitely an ult that they can use to power forward on that C site like we saw in the previous time that they used it, or just figure out a battle plan, because for Scythe at least, this is their chance to really let GE run away with the momentum. It was a very strong showing to come out of Scythe in the beginning, but GE, they've slowly but surely regained it in their favor. So this is their chance to run away with it and possibly push us to a map 3.
Hoping that it's not a technical pause, but I hear
No,
the
don't even
timer.
say it.
I hear that.
Don't even say
I
it.
just jinxed it, Zach, okay? I'm just
Kester
trying to
curse.
jinx it out. But
Reverse Kester curse.
here we go. GX, after that timeout, a little bit of a reset for the entirety of the team. We do see that probably this is the only time that NWJ really had a difficult buy round in their hands since game number 1 a while ago. 2 Bulldogs onto their hands, a Sheriff for 2 players, and 1 Ghost in the hand of Crescent. Kiri trying to clear out mid control here, and we do see the spike on the hands of Muffin Loop. I feel like this is gonna be a B plant take and Mamba out and go for a post plant, but it seems like the lurk or the push or the flank coming in gives a little bit of a pressure. This is already the signal that they're waiting for. If there's gonna be 2 players or 3 players behind us, might as well take on C.
The right call as well. G, their gamble works out
Spike
here, and they
planted.
take the C side, get the spike down, and I think the rifle that was dropped is going to be retrieved by Crescents. Yeah, so there's at least 1 gun available for NWJ on this retake, along with those Bulldogs that you did see them invest in. That said, though, they have already lost a decent chunk of time, so they're going to have to be a little bit faster about pushing the C site if their goal is to try and retake the round completely here. Meow 16k watching for the flank, doesn't hear any sound cues, so it's going to come down to whether she can win these fights out. And she does get a 1-for-1 trade at the very least here. Still though, on site, it's Rose to find another crucial kill. Now it's just Crescent and Lin left alone. Make that just Lin. The clock, it's ticked out, and Lin herself, she might just opt to die to the spike here or save the rifle that she picked up, because it's GE to find their 5th round.
It's gonna be a save instead. Really well executed here, and
Last
good
round
decision
in the
making
half.
coming in from GX. As soon as they knew the info that Amy was able to give, there's gonna be a lot of players from the flank itself. Might as well go and rush C, plant the spike, and prepare that post plant. And I do like the positioning of Meow 16k here. very risky, perhaps, but she was still able to get that information that they truly need. Aside from that, get one kill at least. And this allowed GEX to create and have more space, even getting info along the way. 6-5, one win away for GEX to make it to a 6-6. Not too bad for the first half and for the start that we had a while ago.
Yeah, it was a 4-0 start coming out of NWJ. Okay, jumping from Oriotalia does smoke out the G long presence, but G, they're just gonna fall back now that they've given away that sound cue, and it's a good call again because you can see the rotations coming in from Scythe looking to stack up towards this mid and C area. A side, in fact, left completely for the retake here, so they should be able to get that side for free. Rose also won off of the Rolling Thunder, so a lot of possibilities in this post-plant round. If Curie can get the orb and Rose plants the spike, that's gonna be so much to work with that they have from the shadows invested by the Omen for some information. I don't think it really spotted out. You want to fight it? Should still have this A side available for free. Finally, Cosmic Divide comes down, and that's gonna be the cue to make their way onto site. Rolling Thunder invested as well by Rose early on to make sure that site is empty. And now that they've cleared it out, they're gonna be happy to just rotate over towards C because it's all a fake, and it's sold so well.
30 seconds left.
It's sold so well. Like you said, everyone's just going and trying to make a rotation onto A happen while everyone else from GX's side already going for that post-plant position. And this burned a lot of util, maybe 2 for the side of GEX, but was it worth it? That's gonna be the question as we see them fight for this post-plant. The tap on the spike will force out the pull, and now the Hunter's Fury already being picked out as well. Kiri, is she gonna get any kill? Just a tag, Button Loop and Meow16 all the way to the side just to make something happen. Now we are looking at a 6-6 and GX, the most alive we've seen them yet.
Literally tripling their score from that previous map, but like you mentioned, 6-6, a really nice way for G to close out the half, considering that they had a 0-4 start. They look much more awake and alive, as my co-caster said. But before we jump into the second half and see how this map will play out, I do believe our panel has something to say. Urachu and Raf, over to you.
4-0 to 6-6. GE playing a lot safer and it paying off. Raf, what do we think?
Yeah, and you know, honestly, like with a lot of the safety also comes with the diligence of clearing angles and being a little more disciplined and taking those firefights, which I feel like is the right step in the right direction, because it felt like, especially in those first 4 rounds, they were forcing the speed and they were really playing super up tempo when they had the Astra. Once they capitalized on Meow16k having so much presence in post plant and just denying the fuse when she's alive, as long as she has her Nova Pulse, her Gravity Well, everything, it just becomes that much more problematic. And obviously we saw in that last round too, there was that said panic, you know, and they couldn't even clear out that huge flank by Global. And if Global keep this up, then potentially we could see a map 3.
Yeah, the Astra, I think, very pivotal on this map. But talking about that map 3, are we smelling the map 3? What do we think?
Well, I'm thinking about it, but you know, since the Astra is gonna become a little bit more commanding of the pace, it's just, I feel like it's gonna be how Global can continue this type of momentum they have, because with Scythe having the Omen, they're gonna be trying to play up tempo and again do what they did on the previous map, which is to just destroy Global before they can set any offense up.
All right, well, we're going to find out if there is going to be that Isapa. Guys, take it away.
Good job, Jenny. Good job. I like it. One more. Is that what we are gonna see? Let's find out. We are looking at the reset here for the two teams that we have right now. Zach is 6-6, and I feel like GEX, they found their style. They knew that they could bait out the utility play. They could bait out the rotations for NWJ side, and it's been working out greatly in their favor.
Yeah, I think that towards the second half of that first half, I know it sounds convoluted, but hear me out. I think that G definitely managed to number one, not just bait the rotations like you mentioned, but also control the map a little bit better and play off the back of it. Now on defense, I think that with the agent comp they're running, definitely a little bit more versatility to work with. I think in particular, Meow 16K just having the universal utility on the Astra will find it very useful. NWJ though, for this first pistol, they're looking to put pressure on this B site of all things, which has been held pretty loosely by GE considering how much easier it is to retake. Spike itself though, it's eventually going to be dropping back, and it seems like A is where they want to contest this time around, but there's two players from GE playing aggressively towards long.
They really invested their aftershock just to make sure they destroy the turret there. For the time being, at least they allow, or it allows NWJ side to at least have one stay in B from GS's side. But this is already the take happening. Kiri already with a double kill here, triple even. Lin on the other hand, it doesn't hit. The shots just doesn't connect for NWJ's side. It feels like the gas is out, or rather the tank is out of gas.
Yeah, GE though, they've come to play with a full one after that pistol. I think that the positioning to come out throughout that round out of all the players was pretty good. They just closed like a net on the NWJ squad, and of course Kiri to be able to find a triple all the way from long. Really, really impressive stuff to come out of the GE roster, and it's a flawless that they end on as well. So it's gonna let them not just keep those ghosts that they had from the previous round, but also find a pretty nice upgrade here. All 4 Spectres and a Marshal for Muffin Loot, and if Muffin she can get a couple of kills here, it will let her be capable of bringing up that operator much earlier, playing with that elevation now, looking over possibly for someone to push through. And NWJ themselves, they want to take these closer fights, look to go towards Garage, but Muffin, she finds Lin on the opener.
It's the little things, you know? And investing even that turret towards mid window, not quite sure about that. Easily destroyed. Aside from that, you have to wait a long time before that actually goes online yet again. And speaking of online, that's gonna be Muffin Loop and Amy securing the first 2 pickoffs. Yamori to get one with the classic free gun, by the way, from Crescents as well. It's a 2v3 scenario here. 1 HP from Crescents. They still do have 1 flash from Rose, and the 2 players trying to wrap around. Triangle formation is what they have right here. This drone detects 1, 2 players, even Meow to actually make a follow-up on that. That's gonna be the concuss and the kill from Rose. Good teamwork makes the dream work.
Indeed, and that was some fantastic teamwork that we saw coming out of Meow and Rose towards the end. Like, the awareness that that's probably where that last player is, the question to hit them, just as a precaution, because you really don't want to mess around with the classic at the close range, and the final kills to confirm GE. That's a pretty nice bonus that they're going to be having, because they saved 3 of those Spectres. In fact, upgrades coming through for Meow, for Muffin Loop as well. She's going to be investing in the Vandal for this round, so GE, they are in a little bit of a win position here because of how much they're putting into the round. That said though, they're looking to get aggressive right off the bat. A lot of chip damage being done through the wall to Muffin Loop here, and there's no Sky either, so no heal available for her at this juncture.
Has to deal with that little bit of an HP, but it's still a lot. That's still 64. Yamori, still able to connect the shots in. Now 16 to go down. Unprecedented for her. She was just setting up some stars here and there.
Just a little bit awkward when it comes down to the timings. I don't think she expected her shoulder to be really poking out that much. Yamori, you give her a chance, she's not the type to miss, so she's happy to capitalize and find that kill with that opener. It seems like once again NWJ look to put pressure towards his B site. Smokes come down, a dark cover through which possibly GE could pass through here if they're so inclined. The spike tap, it gets done on the site, and the turret gets broken as well. So finally NWJ, they're gonna be able to get that spike down without too much ado. Rose though looking to push forward, might be able to do some damage, takes down Yamori here. Kiri with the second opener as well, and suddenly this looks much more viable. 3v3 as the dark cover comes down. The trades, they're in favor. Rose doing her best to defuse the spike all the way here, comes it down to a 1v2 situation. She gets the defuse completely through, and GE, they find a lead to 9.
Well read coming in from Rose as well. Lots of utilities being thrown just to delay that plan to a point where Yamori just couldn't exit the site. The plan here was to hear Yamori take the spike, plant it, and dash away for the post plant. That didn't happen at all. Nothing went according to the plan here for NWJ's side. Completely dismantled by GEX at that point. And now we are left with a 6-9. Nice. And we have an operator on the side of Muffin Loop.
Yeah, we talked about the operator before we really got into the game, and finally we're going to be seeing it coming online for Muffin Loop's side, and a bit of an eco round for NWJ. Serums across the board here, no Blade Storm either to work with, though if Yamori gets a couple of kills, that could change. The operator itself, it's going to be put towards A Heaven, a bit of a passive angle to come out of it, but I guess they just really don't want to risk it because of how expensive that gun tends to be. Either way though, NWJ right off the bat, they're not able to find any opening picks because of how passively GE are playing, and they're just gonna be forced to fall back, it seems like.
GX so far it's been working out greatly in their favor. The teamwork is way better compared to what we've seen in game number 1. I feel like it had warmed them up. Not only that, momentum wise, it's really going onto their side as well. Muffin Loop, we do have that operator set up already, but so far, you know the movements that NWJ is gonna
30
have
seconds
here.
left.
They only have pistols, so they have to play for the picks, but already movements from the players of GEX. They're trying to rotate, but comes back all the way to A yet again.
Or I feel like I'm making a little bit of noise towards C, but like you mentioned, A is where the hit is finally coming here. Kiri with the spray down for 3 already, and Muffin with the operator to find that 4th. Now it's just down to Ophelia, a 1v5 for her, and there's just no time left on the clock. She has to find a way to try and die here, otherwise she's just not gonna have the buy for that next round. Unfortunately, they're not gonna oblige, and they find double digits, but also cause a little bit of economic problems for their opponents here. But that's said, this is a repeat of what we saw on Bind. It's just that the sides are switched. They buy so much time, NWJ, expecting that push, that they just have nothing to work with towards the end.
Beautiful setups as well coming in from GX. The stars aligning for Meow as she has that gravity well prepped up in case they need to delay. And delaying is essentially what they needed at that point. Oriophile was trying to sell out a fake, but just doesn't work. Muffin Loop gets the first kill, especially with that operator on her hand. The favorite spot that she has right now, the boosted onto the box. She still has that Blade Storm in case she needs to pop it out and go crazy as well when everyone goes in on the site itself. But it seems like it's a little bit of a delay from NWJ's side. Gonna stay on quietly and maybe try to make a fake rotation or maybe a real rotation happen.
Real rotation does seem to be the call because everybody from the WJ just wants nothing to do with that operator, as well as that A site push that hasn't worked out for them really. Lin kind of left behind on a possible lurk, maybe to find a kill if GE gets a bit too aggressive, but the spike itself, it's headed towards B instead. Position given away by the alarm bot. Amy still hanging around here, watching for the cross, playing so passively. GE, they know that they have the numbers advantage and they want to try and keep it up, and once again, it's the clock that's being run down here. NWJ with 30 seconds left, they have to go for it, and they do indeed do so, going for that B side, but Kiri, watching for the lurk, takes down Lin. 3v5 situation right now. Just Fury available as well to try and deny the plant, though it's finally going to be used here. 15 seconds, they have to make a move, and it's just so difficult for NWJ to really find anything at all. Just Fury connects, doing a little bit of additional damage to presence here, and it will just be GE letting their opponents walk into their clutches. 2 alive for NWJ.
They plan for a retake to happen, and that's exactly what they're trying to do right now. It's really heavily towards the side of GX here. Lots of bullets flying out, and Muffin Loop not shy to pop out that ult as well. GX secures 11-6 here. Zach, this choices, the decision making coming in from GX, it felt like I didn't watch game number 1.
I don't think any of us did. What do you mean game number 1? This is game number 1. No, I'm kidding. No, but they definitely look much more comfortable. Like we talked about before, Haven is just that kind of map that everyone knows how to play, and GE's defense at least has been flawless so far. That's 5 rounds in a row, 2 away from pushing us to a map 3, and we're gonna be seeing a timeout finally being called by SCYTHE here. Again, the economy for them not gonna be in the greatest spot, though they do have that Blade Storm on Yamori, and Muffin in particular I think has been super impressive for this map. Once she got that operator online, her and Kiri together have just made that A site utterly impossible to breach. And Kiri, I think she's gotten already like 3Ks on this map. So I think that this is the kind of potential that we really expect to see from them. And they're finally showing up.
When it comes to aggression that we saw from Arena a while ago from Sky Elise, it's a complete turnaround of events when it comes to here on map number 2. She's still having a hard time making kills, making frags happen, always taking care of the lurks, always taking care of the rotations, but ends up getting picked off instead. You don't have that advantage of Arena no more where you could just dismiss away after a kill. And I feel like this change of pacing is giving her much more difficult time to deal with. But in any case, any sense, we've seen a lot of comebacks happen, but GX 1 win away from making a match point happen here. Now it's just GX trying to continue what they're doing, and so far it's been working great for them anyway. It's all up to NWJ on how they're gonna change up the style, the play, and make something surprising that GX wouldn't expect.
I think so far GE have been happy to let NWJ just walk into their clutches, like we talked about, a reversal of what we saw on Bai, and then they've excelled at running the clock down. Now with this lesser Bai, it's gonna have to be NWJ to somehow break things open here for the squad. Really nice recon, but it's not gonna really catch anything here. Timing not quite right for Curia. She does spot out Sky Elise, but the shock dart doesn't connect, so that's gonna leave Garage open, now forcing Muffin Loop into a bit of an awkward position as that dark cover goes down. It is gonna be Yamori to find that kill onto Curia to open things up. The smokes as well to come in, as long with the recon. Muffin fighting for her life here. No Blade Storm available either, but the no scope still connects, and it's gonna be Yamori to finally shut her down. Now 2v4 for the side for GX. Meow able to find that first. Kylie's taken down, so it's a 2v3. Suddenly things look much more doable. Yamori though, she still has that operator towards CT, so Amy, she's gonna have to win out this fight somehow to make this still viable.
They do have a smoke on GX's side, but never mind. No use so far. There's no setups that we are looking at. Now Meow is left alone to isolate fights. This operator, we know how deadly it is in the hands of GX, but even more deadlier in the hands of Yamori for this round.
Yeah, I think she was very happy to find that kill, but kudos to Muffin. She's at least able to find one before being shut down. That was an insane no-scope that we saw coming out of her inside that smoke. That said though, unfortunate timing for GE, and they finally, NWJ, they're able to win a round on attack after 5 rounds in a row. Really nice timeout that worked out for them great. And now they have the operator on the attack. It's always both a huge plus and a minus, because it usually takes your jet away from being able to create that space. But Yamori, she's been incredible so far today. And now that they have the control of the orb, they're able to not just get that ultimate ready to go, but also make sure that they can pinpoint exactly where that operator is. Muffin already having rotated over to that B site, however, it might throw a little bit of a wrench in NWJ's plans.
I think she might be rotating towards A at this point, but if you check on the mini-map as well, NWJ, I think they just want to take space and try to see where they can get a pick-off or make a pick-off happen. They know that C long is definitely clear. There is a trap there, yes, but Amy is already deep down C long. It's either B or A for the two teams, or for NWJ right now. Rose just waiting patiently until when she can delay. This is already that ult from the Killjoy being popped. It's bound to happen. The take on the side. Pre-fire from Meow. Maybe she gets one for a little bit of damage, but in the end, this is still a take on to B. Very deep onto A link. Carry needs to be careful. It's going to be two people waiting on her once this smoke dissipates.
One of them is Muffin Loop with the operator, so if she can find that first kill, it's gonna be huge, but it's Yamori instead with the advanced angle to get that one opened up. Lin with the second to follow up, and suddenly again GE, they're on the back foot here. 3 remaining players, and the call might just be to save because there's just no way they're finding any kind of headway into that site with the kind of control that NWJ have in their pocket. They're gonna be holding on to these 3 rifles here, but I don't think they have the economy to buy up an operator again, or do they? They might. Yeah, never mind. They have money.
Unlike me, 5v3 situation right now. And like you said, they just opted for a save here. They are just 1 point away from a match point, so they would rather have that secured. At least if all goes wrong, it's still an overtime, right? It's important just secure that. They do still have that operator, and I feel like NWJ has better understanding now on how the rotations of GX is working out as well. They try to pinpoint where that operator might be. They do the jump peaks, make some noise. If there's an operator, we swap sides. And I think Muffin Loop also understands that. That's why she also hyper rotated to B immediately. It's just the timing. By the time that she was on A, everything else was happening on B already.
Yeah, just a little bit of unfortunate timing for sure. But also NWJ, I think that they've been really, after that timeout, they've been much better at reading how exactly GE are playing things out. That said, though, this early control towards mid by Muffin and Meow, who are holding down this crossfire, it could prove to be everything, especially if Meow doesn't get cleared here. I don't think they spotted her out, but the shot from Muffin, it goes wide, and that will be the cue for some pressure, but it's just a bait. Meow 16k goes huge to find a double towards mid, and just like that, GE, they have the advantage in the beginning once again. 3 players left for NWJ, and they look to rotate over towards the A site instead, where there's still Curie keeping an eye out.
They took the carrot that was hanging right there. 3v5 situation. The operator is still in play. Like you said, there's cons to this. It takes away your jet and its firepower that is able to do. But so far, all smokes has been set up. The ultimate from the breach. There's that rolling thunder. Lin? No way! She didn't get the kill instead. Meow 16 with a prestige shot or Ophelia to get one. A quick trade off. Yamori now left alone. Is this the match point the GX is waiting for? So far, that shot on the operator from Muffin Loop wins this round, and a match point for GX.
Match point.
Match points indeed. 1 round away from a map number 3 here, and GX, they haven't given up. What was it we heard from our casters? Never back down, never give up, and GE, they're embodying it right now in the second half. 1 round away. It's all that it takes here, and no more operator for Yamori in this round as well. So I think that as long as GE, they can keep playing how they've been doing, just waiting for mistakes from their opponents and holding onto the sites themselves, it is what they need. Right now, it seems like Scythe, they're just opting for a pretty straightforward push onto C long. Meow 16k will be able to get the information with the jump peak, and the rolling thunder will force GE to go on for a full 5v5 retake.
So much smokes onto the side that Yamori needs to cross. But they know this is quite an open wide side. Utility-wise, Meow still has the ult here. The Cosmic Divide still up and online and available for them to use. But other than that, NWJ also has the capability for this post-plant situation, especially with Hunter's Fury available. Nor if Ophelia can reposition herself once she gets stuck, or if ever they get stuck on C-Long. Let's see, it starts with the Aftershock trying to delay them. It's the plant definitely there. Time ticking away. Flash settles in. Amy good for the trade. Are they gonna get another? Yes, they are. The flash is coming in left and right. Cosmic Divide being used off, but the timing perfect for Skylise to take on the kill. 2v3 situation. They're starting to defuse now. The Hunter's Fury being pulled out. It connects. It stops the defuse of the spike, and the round's still taken away here by the side of NWJ.
Oh, it got so close there. G almost had to defuse all the way. It's just really unfortunate that Amy went out like this because even with the Cosmic Divide, they had a chance to get it through completely. Just that Hunter's Fury, that final nail in the coffin to take down Curie. They're really nicely played by NWJ to be able to keep this going. That said though, G, they're going to have the economy to buy up nevertheless for this particular round. However, they're going to have to do their best to try and close it out because they really don't want to let NWJ make up the deficit. It's only 3 rounds away to overtime. And the last time that this map happened, I do believe it was NWJ winning it in overtime. So, gee, they definitely want to avoid that history being repeated here. And they are playing a little bit more aggressive towards C side. A triple stack, in fact, that's going to be smoked out. And it's going to force a quick pivot over towards A instead, where Oreo with the From the Shadows already takes heaven control.
If that round didn't have that Hunter's Fury, the story might be totally and completely different. Crescent's planting the spike right now for
Spike
the
planted.
team. We do see the rotations coming in from GEX as well. A little bit of a lost value when it comes to that operator. But they do have an Odin here if they want to use it up as well. Can be deadly. It could also be a cons because the wind-up time, basically preparing that Odin for the recoil takes a little bit, but if you're used to it, why not? Again, Spike has been planted here, and I feel like it would rather be safe for GX. They want a round that is secured.
Yeah, they're just holding on to that operator and that Odin, kind of expensive investments here, and I don't think they have the economy to buy up those guns again, so they're not really wanting to risk it in a 4v5 retake when they have no information or control. Bit of a... Sometimes I do think that teams, they tend to play a little bit passive, but GE, remember, all they need is one more round, and thanks to Amy, they have the lockdown ready to go for the retake, so I think they're going to be happy to just try to win a round off the back of that. Timeout to come out now from Global, their second one and final one for this map, unless we do go to overtime, to decide how exactly they can close it out, because, again, right, 12 to 10, you're so close to overtime. NWJ, they've been able to adapt to some of GE's plays in the last couple of rounds. They won 4 out of the 5 rounds in the last half so far. So I think GE, they definitely want to try to close this out as early as possible to make sure that they do get that battery.
This timeout will be the decision making of GE Phoenix on how to close this map away from NWJ. It also gives a little bit of a time towards NWJ though to prep up some master plan and how to make this to a 12-12. Utility wise, ultimate wise, we are not seeing anything lighting up in the hands of Scythe. And you mentioned it a while ago already. Amy has this lockdown that she could use for that retake scenario in case they need it, or even a delaying scenario, if we must say. But it just all boils down to who's gonna make a mistake here. You have an operator set up, and if this gets initial pickups away from NWJ, the round might be already like a little bit over, but it seems like they wanted to push in, and instead they got a 2-1 trade.
Yo, I swear I saw my life flashing in front of my eyes if I were Crescents, because I think that Odin did so much wallbang damage right off the bat. A little bit unfortunate for G that they do lose their controller, but it is still a 2-for-1 trade. And I don't think they're too displeased by that. Curie's still applying pressure from this garage area to spot out Sky at least to boot, so at least they know that there is still some presence towards this mid area. Now in a 3v4 situation, no ultimates available for the NWJ squad. They're just gonna have to play contact here as they look to go into the B site. They do get spotted out, so it seems like Rose is gonna be able to push forward off the back of the stun. Amy finds another, and now it's all down to Lynn. She's been great throughout today, but in a 1v4, it might be a little bit too much even for her to keep her team alive and in this. Does have control of the spike, trying to isolate these fights and kills. Does find the timing to walk back to VCT and takes down Rose here, but now still a 1v3. Curie with the Odin, she swings, she finds the kill, and we are going all the way in the series. Split is on the line in Global Esports. They take map number 2.
If I'm not mistaken, it's Meow on the lower left, right? Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and you can see definitely that wasn't a very easy game for them to take. They had difficulties from the get-go, but all throughout the map that we just saw, especially here in the Haven. The good decision making coming in from GX here made them go and push forward. Not other than that, the heavy investment on heavy artillery as well on that last round that they had, definitely there. I thought that having Meow 16 die off in the first initial seconds of the round itself would already be the turning point of the event, but it wasn't. It was a 2-1 trade instead. But anyway, this is GEX securing the second game. It only means one thing. We are getting another map. We're getting another game here in the best of 3 series that we have. A final one though. Zach, any last thoughts before we pass it on to our panelists?
I cannot wait for Split, but like you mentioned, it's our panelists' time to shine. So Rayrachu and Ralph, you have the table.
Thank you, ladies. 04 to 13 and 10 for GE Phoenix. It's giving comeback. What do we think?
Man, it does kind of look that way, especially with how that attacking side on Scythe was just very, very disjointed. At times, it felt like they were trying to bang their head against the brick wall, which honestly is very uncharacteristic of Scythe, knowing that they're a very safe team. They love to, again, slice the map up as carefully as possible, but then all that diligence kind of flew out the window after a big snowball on the side of Global Esports Phoenix, and as well as Global Esports managing of their ult economy has been very, very impressive. There are so many times where Scythe was caught out without the Hunter's Fury, which was used for an emergency post-plant kill to keep the game alive. But, you know, again, it's one of those things where you can't really predict how these things are going to go, because those first 4 rounds on the side of Scythe in the previous half was just utterly dominant, you know, stealing away the bonus with pistols to this 13-10 scoreline in favor of Phoenix.
Yeah, just, you know, when they had that 4-0 start, I mean, we had a really long tech pause in between. I have to kind of question maybe like their momentum stopped all of a sudden after that long pause. We'll never know, but here are more stats for y'all. 9 first kills for the side of G Phoenix, 14 on the side of Scythe, 6 out of 9 post plants, and 4 out of 6 post plants for Scythe. So, pretty fair numbers, I think, all around for post plan. Like when you see numbers like that, it usually means that both teams are kind of equally prepared in terms of like prepping on how to play for the retake. We do have the MVP for GE Phoenix this time around is gonna go over to Kiri, 34.5% headshot on the Sova. Muffin Loop on Jet also had a very outstanding performance. I think she was like 2012. Also, Meow 16K stepped up big on the Astra also. And yeah, I think this is more of the GE Phoenix that we were hoping, that we were expecting to see coming into today. Whereas for Scythe, you know, especially the second half of this map too, we've seen better from them.
That's true. I was just glossing over some of the stats and some of the notes I had for the map. Again, it really is such a great side on the side of Global Esports Phoenix to slow down the game to a pace that they can manage. They can make the Astra and they can make Kiri shine on more utility heavy takes, because it did seem like Scythe was a bit stubborn. They were kind of fighting into some of those scans and into some of those smokes. But again, hopefully we're going to say the same thing for Scythe. The same thing we said for Global Esports Phoenix, you know, just kind of reset. It's going to be a new map, and hopefully the map they close out on.
100%, but you know, win or lose, this next map is going to be the absolute last map of the day. Both teams fighting tooth and nail to make sure that they remain. Who's it going to be? You're going to have to stick around to find out. Hi guys, and welcome back to the last map of the day between GE Phoenix and SCYTHE NWJ. And you know, we kind of called this earlier in the day, earlier before map number 1. You know, we thought that this series would be another one that would go the distance, and here we are.
Well, that it did, and I feel like it was honestly a good sign for Global Esports Phoenix to play as clean as they did, but a little worrying on the side of SCYTHE because I feel like with all the games that we've seen from SCYTHE, they don't necessarily see this type of degradation in their play. So kind of coming into a third map here, it's again a little worrying, but hopefully they did get that mental reset with that short break, and coming into the game, they're once again they go back to zero. You know, they reset everything.
Oh, for sure. I think Global Esports absolutely showed that they were kind of getting SCYTHE's number right there on that map number 2. SCYTHE look a bit unsure, a bit on the back foot, kind of backpedaling a bit. It'll be interesting to see how they pick their agent compositions going into this map number 3. I think Split is an interesting one for both of these teams. SCYTHE do have a bit more experience, I think, playing Split over in competitive, whereas generally GE Phoenix, they try not to play Split as much as possible. However, for SCYTHE, when they do decide to play on Split, we've seen them go with a whole bunch of different types of agent compositions, and I'm not sure what they're feeling right now, like whether it's more of nerves or just how confident they are, because I think that definitely has to impact their decision making for this comp for map 3.
I agree, you know. I mean, considering Haven was, if I'm not mistaken, a map pick on the side of SCYTHE, then once again, it's worrying. Hopefully, just hopefully, they can go back to step 1 and execute the plans that they have in mind and just kind of, you know, loosen up a little bit. There were so many moments, especially in the latter half of that second game, where they just looked so stiff with their routing. They didn't check corners. So again, before they could get to step 5, they really have to be thorough with step 1, 2, 3, 4, and hopefully they can be a little more patient with their game, because it did feel like despite Global Esports Phoenix over-rotating on some of those defensive rounds, SCYTHE still could not capitalize on the cracks in the defense.
I love that SCYTHE are opting to go full confidence right here with the double duelist composition on a split with the Jet and the Raze. GE Phoenix, however, playing a bit more safe. They're going to stick with, I think, what has worked for them. Rose are going to go on the Astra this time around, and it will just be the solo duelist, Meow 16K, on her signature Raze. SCYTHE are starting out on the attack, so I think it's just gonna come down to the mental game at this point, Raf. I don't know, man. Stamina and mentality.
That's true, and it looks like SCYTHE might just benefit a little bit more from a lot more open space, and if Global Esports Phoenix can kind of just play around their smokes and just delay as much as they can, then maybe we're gonna see quite a bit of success on the side of Global Esports Phoenix, considering they are also on the strong side of things. Now, SCYTHE, sometimes I feel like they are a little too obedient of the textbook play, that they kind of have to push the tempo every now and then, but still in a controlled manner.
All right, well, we're about ready to get into game for the very last map of the day to find out which team will play versus Orang Utan X tomorrow. Taylor and Zach, take it back.
Thank you for that breakdown. What a wonderful panelist. But yes, it is the final map of today. No matter what happens, it is one of these teams moving on and one of those teams going home, bringing you the action for this last map of the day. It is none other than the wonderful Terror and myself, Zach. That said, though, looking at these agent... Yes, I think everyone hydrate, because it's been a long day, so make sure you get your water. I've been through the whole bottle today, so I'm pretty much very hydrated. But that said, distractions apart, looking at the agent comps, Global Esports, they're going to be pulling up that Omen and the Astra, you know? We were talking about the pros and cons, and they were just like, let's just take both of them, right?
Like, why choose? Why pick, right? Why not take them both? You know, it's not a problem at all. And this time around, I totally agree with Ray Rachu as well. It just all boils down to that mental fortitude, the resiliency of the teams that we have right here, and the stamina that they got when it comes to game number 3. Though, momentum-wise, it's definitely in the hands of GEX right now.
Yeah, they're coming off of that victory in that map too to bring us here. And you know, I'm the kind of person who likes to go through VLR looking at stats because I don't have anything else to do with my life. Don't tell anyone.
Stats don't lie.
But
It's okay.
yeah. So I was going through the facts, and it's pretty interesting because this is a map where we just saw SCYTHE do a pretty commendable job in that upper bracket against RRQ Kaguya. So definitely a map that they're pretty well versed on. However, Global Esports, they've been picking it up in a couple of these off-season events as well against different rosters and not just Game Changer tournaments. So they've also, even though they haven't played it as much in the Game Changer scene, they do have some experience on it. So I'm hoping for a bit of a close game. That said though, we're really sorry. I don't know if it's the Raph and Terror curse or just that all of us cursed together, but we do have word for production that we're going to be having a little bit more of a delay before we jump directly into game. So apologies for that. You're just gonna have to listen to us talk and tell you more fun facts. Yes, I see the tiger bomb. I see it.
I'm already pulling out all the tita stuff here, all the auntie stuff, just to make it through this final game that we have right now, guys. But nevertheless, jokes aside though, it is indeed a long day, but it's a very important day for the teams that we have right here, Zach. And for people who are watching right now and people who just tuned in, this is elite. This is the final step towards that championship in Sao Paulo, where everyone or every team from all the regions will go through and battle it out for that championship. So this is really very essential for the teams, and you can't see any more hunger than what teams have for today.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you there. And like you mentioned, it's all or nothing here for these two teams. It's lower bracket day. We already did have our first matchup in the morning, which saw MOT unfortunately being sent home after their matchup. Now, today, it's going to be either GE or NWJ side to come out on top. Prediction. I honestly don't know. I'm just gonna have to say GE because GE fighting and regional
You say you don't know,
support.
but I already in my mind I know your answer, Zach. I
Of
know
course,
it so well.
I gotta stand up for my region, man. Look, last year
I
we
go
had a
for
rabbit
SCYTHE
set. Wow, the betrayal, Terror. How could you do this to us?
Well, someone has to go on the other side, right? So you go for GE fighting. I go for the Indonesia Pride. I go for my friends here from SCYTHE, terima kasih, because our production is also Indonesian, so I don't want to mess around with them. But I don't know with you, Zach.
Look, the only thing, I haven't really been to Indonesia yet. It is on my list, but I gotta say, Indonesian players, I mean, come on, the best player, yeah, correct. Like, arguably, like, the best player in GC before this year. I'm pretty sure even this year, all of us would agree that Ineri is in that ranking, and she is Indonesian. So definitely, there's just something to be said about these Indonesian players and Filipino players, like just aim-wise. I don't know what you guys do, like whether it's the food, whether it's the beach culture, whether it's just like everything else. You are Filipino, so you can tell us the secret. Why are you guys so cracked?
I'm a little pipino, but I think right now, I would rather be on the side of the viewers right now, though. I know that you guys have been waiting for this game, but right now, we're just gonna go in a very short break. Don't worry, when we get back, we're finally bringing you the action, the last map. You never know, we might reach day number 5 of day number 4. You just never know. But we're gonna be here to bring that action to you. No worries. But right now, we're just gonna go in a very short break. Don't go away. VCT Game Changers APAC Elite. We'll be right back.
Show me what you got. Back that up, back that up, back that up.
me what you got. Show me what you got. Down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, God. Ain't no reason to back down, so step it up. God, down, up, back, up, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, God, down, up, back, God, down, up,
Oh, well, welcome back to VCT Game Changers Elite. We are hopefully heading into map number 3 without any further tech delays. I say that as a thankful prayer and hope.
Hope for the best. That's all we gotta say. You just gotta hope for the best, right? But here we go again. Agent Select, just to bring you back to the action here. We do have a difference when it comes to the agents that we're looking at right now. I don't see any Astros no more. And at the same time, we are looking at a Viper, a double controller setup from the side of GE Phoenix, while on site, we do have that double duelist.
That makes a lot more sense because, you know, Viper is very popular on the map, and I was thinking like, okay, maybe an Omen and a Viper, that makes sense, or an Astra and a Viper, yeah. But instead, it's gonna be Rose switching over from that debating Astra pick that we saw before we headed into the break now to the Viper.
Whoa.
I think it's definitely gonna be a little bit more useful when it comes to delays and the post plans depending on what side G is playing for. Either way though, I do believe that we're getting ready to head into game. And Eliza, what do you see through your glasses?
A lot. It makes my eyesight clear, that's for sure. Just copying one of the players like EJ and his photos in VCT. But here we go. We have the two teams that is bound. Either it's just one of them going through this lower bracket, and one will say goodbye for the meantime here in Game Changers. Well, for this year, right?
Yeah, only one can remain standing at the end of it, and all roads lead to the same path. And this is either GE Phoenix's or NWJ Site's last song for this year. Hopefully, it's gonna be a good one as we are going to be heading into split. I think that for GE, starting off on this defender side, the Viper and the Omen double controller cycling smokes definitely going to prove to be useful here. Early Viper wall for a control, and NWJ themselves, while they're exerting the appearance of pressure towards mid, the spike itself is still positioned towards this A site where Amy, the Killjoy, is playing.
Patience is key for the team of GEX. They do have the trap set up. At least they get info, they get intel whenever the players are coming in. But that flash and nade just gives it off as well. Amy needs to hold down the fort here on the side. She gets and managed to get one kill. But running away and jumping away, catching her is going to be Crescent's one-to-one trade. This opens up the side for them to plant the spike. But this is a hyper rotation from GEX. They know what's next.
Yeah, it's gonna come down to the retake here out of GE's side. The dog from Crescent's gonna be able to point out that CT is looking quite empty and will point towards this ramp and being the point of control. The flash is there, but the swing, it's gonna be going in GE's favor. The shots miss. Finally, though, Skylee's able to take down Rose here. It's all down to Kiri. She makes her way onto site, spots at the position of Oreo, who's just playing in the box. Kiri though finds the kill. She has a dark cover to work with, and she might be able to get the defuse if she can just stick it. Already more than halfway through. You see the shots coming in, but it's gonna be a little bit too late. She gets it!
Clutch settling in! What happened to ping the spike? No other shots connected at all. And the thing is, GX, especially for Kiri, the beauty of having one smoke left for you to work around with, especially on a pistol round like this, a 1v1 scenario, could have been playing around the time. They played around the player, they played around Kiri, but she still stood tall after that, after everything.
Yo, that was a round that SCYTHE had no business losing, but Kiri played that to perfection there. She got the 1v1 and she took full advantage, and of course, just the presence of mind to put down the smoke and go for the stick instead. No, I'm not looking at it. I don't see anything. I'm just gonna talk about the game like there's no technical pause sign blaring in my head because I've had enough of those for today. I think we all have.
What did you do, Zach? What did you eat? Is there anything that happened today?
I'm actually really hungry. Why did you remind me?
Oh, sorry. But is it a real technical pause or is it fake? It's a fake.
I told you, if you don't see it, it goes away. I told you.
Shadows traveling.
Love the pranks here, but anyway. Round number 2 is what we have here. GX, they do have the guns. They do have the judge in the hands of Meow. And they're already holding a crossfire here on mid, and it feels like NWJ, this is the plan as well.
Once again, mid pressure racking up. They're looking to push forward off the back of it. H-Shells early on into Meow 16K's clutches. The judge, it swings and it goes huge to find a triple kill in a matter of seconds. Now, just Oreo and Lynn are left alive. 2v5 rather. I was gonna say a 1v5, but 2v5 if you include the turret, maybe third. But right now, at least, there's just no space for them to work with. All the utility being thrown at them will push them way back, and Meow 16K back to her original position, especially with the spike being dropped in the open like this. It's just a possibility for the Rays to get an entire ace here.
I mean, they do have a smoke in the hands of Ophelia anytime soon. Maybe they could play around it, but it seems like this Viper Orb, Meow trying to feel if there's anyone still on mid. They do, and I think the smoke from the Omen has been used up as well. This would be around already for GX. It's just a matter of time. And Meow, the first ace in this game, in this series for today as well, right?
No, just today. First ace of today. I only see this 4Ks.
we only saw 4Ks. Just doesn't catch the 5th kill. But this time around with the judge even, the security guard move here in the Philippines, as we call it, they finally find it. The ace settling in. GX off to a good start.
Yeah, definitely going to be feeling very happy about that. Also getting Meow 16K closer to that showstopper. And, you know, that's the advantage of the Rays, right? Even in these kind of bonus rounds, it's just the judge that can find so much value. The satchel doesn't quite go as planned, but it's still going to be some space taken by the GE roster as they look to push up. However, that noise being made early on, it's going to push them back. Still, though, Meow 16K in close quarters with the judge. Looking to jump, still fighting for her life. Matches from her teammates coming in to help her out here. And again, it's just the crossfires being held. Okay, Meow's not pushing. I thought she was gonna pull forward, but nope. It's just going to be G finding that early advantage.
I think they're playing out. Enough is enough. Meow would say, too much chaos. I cannot any longer. As long as we got that delay, we got the utilities being played out here, and the Trailblazer already used up. Paranoia even from the side of NWJ. A lot of burnt out utilities here, and they're gonna throw off this one Vandal that they have. Obviously, they one more try, one more. It didn't go out, right? It's still in the map. But anyway, they just don't want to give out that free gun away. But nonetheless, NWJ 30 seconds remaining to make an entry happen.
30 seconds left, like you said, and it seems like they're heading for the B site. The problem is, the judge is still here. It rotated all the way over, and the 16K still looking to make something happen along with
trauma.
The yeah, it's just CTSD across the board here. It might just be better for NWJ to try to save Yamori. satchels in, falls to Meow 16. Again, the judge and the Raze utility
Spike down,
playing
B.
so much havoc on the site.
One
And it seems
enemy
like it's just
remaining.
gonna be a triple for Meow. An ace the last time, a triple this time, and it will be Lynn as the sole survivor, looking to at least find some damage, which she does onto Meow 16k. That said though, GE, they still take the bonus round, and now they have the showstopper ready to go. But this is illegal, man. Come on.
I love that Rose picked the judge up instead of any other gun that they have right here, all laying across the map, and instead saved that judge instead. And they're giving it away to Amy. Maybe pass it on to Meow. It's been working out greatly, you know? And this is the thing with Split. No matter how much money you got, operator, whatever Vandal, Phantom that you have, if Raze has good positioning, especially when you have really good smoke setups for you, you could just dismantle the entirety of the team.
Yeah, I think just so much stall utility available because of these cycling smokes like we talked about. The Viper as well, bringing so much to the table here. GEX, they know that they have the advantage when it comes down to firepower. You can see from the positions that they're holding, it's just the off angles and the plays that try to make things work for them. Now, however, there is some mid control that has been taken, and the hero rifle will actually take down Kiri here. That's the opener coming through for the squad. Muffin, though, bounces back with one of her own. Takes quite a bit of damage in the process, but still stays alive. So we'll have the flashes and the rest of the utility available for her team. That said, though, NWJ, despite that pick that they found here towards mid, they still have to try and figure out which side they want to go to. And the answer to that seems like it's going to be B. But Meow with the showstopper, she's waiting here, ready to go, finds the kill as well. And just like that, it's a 2v4.
30 seconds
It's been
left.
deadly all throughout these rounds from the judge up to the showstopper plays. It just doesn't get
remaining.
enough. Meow
Spike
again
down
with a
mid.
kill. Now it's all up to Lynn. The only person remaining for NWJ. It was a hero buy from her, but the judge is still not yet over. It will still show up around the map, not in the hands of Meow, but in the hands of Amy instead.
Oh my god, I swear. Like, it seems like no matter how much money you have, the shotgun is just unequivocally the best weapon on this map, as GEX is so thoroughly demonstrating here round after round. They're gonna be feeling pretty pleased about that. Once again, Meow, she has all the money in the world, but still gonna be opting for that judge purchase. I mean, why fix what ain't broken, isn't that right?
Yeah, and so far, if it's working, right? Especially for GEX, this is a very important series, a very important match that they currently have. And if it allows you to at least make NWJ be a little iffy of the setups they want to take or the push that they want to make, then it works. Even putting a little bit of a dent towards that confidence and trying to push, it just works. And I think with how much it works, Yamori decided, like, you know what? Me too.
Yeah, the only way to beat a judge is to pick up a judge of your own. And Yamori, she's taking up so much space here. Muffin Loop might not be ready for this if she does decide to swing around the corner here. Does hear the judge, an immediate call to back away here. Lynn now looking to take some space towards B main. Has to clear the corner where the judge is still waiting. And Meow, she finds that kill. First blood again for GE Phoenix. Now though, towards CT, it's Rose to find another one. Immediately traded out by Crescent, although there's still Muffin Loop on the wait here. A second kill, that's gonna be the spike control taken. And the judge, though, from Yamori, still active and in play. A 1v3 spike control in favor of GE. And with 12 HP left, how much more can Yamori really fight?
They do
30
take the
seconds left.
space on B, right? But they ultimately pushed all the way to CT side, and this allowed GEX to just catch them off and kill them off quite easily. Good reset from Muffin Loop as well from CT side, trying to get those double kills in. And
10
this
seconds
is going to be a
left.
save for this Vandal instead. And I think it's hunting season, as the song would say. As this blind, I think, gets intel, but the double kill settles it up. Meow got a little scared there with 1 second remaining. Could have been a win, you never know. But already, that is a round yet again for GEX.
Indeed, and once again, it's just played through with perfection. The judge for Meow 16k finding huge value here, but more than that, positioning-wise, I think that despite Yamori being able to find those kills, it will set her up closer to that showstopper. it's a little bit sad for GE that they weren't able to take that final gun off out of her hands. But that said, it's not too much of a problem because their economy, it's absolutely thriving here. Finally, we're going to be seeing no more judges coming through on either side, at least as of now. And for GE Phoenix, this has been the best start that they've had all day because map 1, it didn't really go their way. That's the nicest way I can say it. Map 2, they started slow, but they came back stronger. And finally, the momentum, it's in their favor.
Judge is the key, Judge is the way, especially in a map like Split. We almost every time I have Split as a map, there's always going to be that one Judge player on the defense, especially. And we've seen it time and time again in other VCT circuits as well. If it works, especially with a lot of angles that you have to check and you can actually hide on here, it just works out greatly in the favor of the defense. Even on the offense, if you have a race like Yamori did a while ago, just so happens that with all the smokes coming in, especially you have a double smoke setup from GEX, it's more difficult to kind of set or move around it.
Yeah, Rose though, to try and find out whether anyone's contesting mid. Will get the information and immediately puts down the molly to try and buy a little bit more time. Rose is trying to kind of hold this alone by herself, though she does have the backup now from top mid. Muffin though with a swing, huge opener there to take out Aurelia. That's the controller down for the side of NWJ right off the bat, forcing them to go for a commit towards his B side instead. Bladestorm still online. Hero rifle in the hands of Yamori to boot. If Yamori can find a kill, that will get her the showstopper ready to go. The blades for SCYTHE though, looking to hunt down Amy. Find the kill. In fact, Yamori will have the showstopper off the back of that 4v3 situation right now. GE, they're finally on the back foot, and it seems like NWJ, they're investing everything they can in this round to make it work out.
Seekers already pulled out as well. Muffin Loop also has the Seekers available to use, but this Seekers will give out the info. The alarm as well is there, but vulnerability, I don't know that, as Kiri would say. Lin to shut down one, that's gonna be Rose. This Blade Storm is the pivotal point of this round as well. Kiri, can she make a clutch happen? This is a smoke off yet again. They do have a flash, but the Blade Storm stands tall. NWJ, finally the first round that they're looking for in this match.
And they do it off the back of the blades as well. Really, really nice work to come out of them. Not only that, even though they invested the Seekers in this round, they still do have that showstopper ready to go for that next one. So they still have some things in their pocket. In fact, the lockdown available as well for them. So finally things looking to swing back at least a little bit in their favor. That said, for GE's side, it seems like once they lost a round, they're going back to what worked great for them, which is that judge in the hands of Meow16k. GE also do have a lockdown available for themselves. So I think that it might just come down to whose lockdown goes down first. That game of chicken that we see played so often. Who puts it down first? It will immediately trigger that counter.
We're back on the judge. Trailblazer, just to check if there's anyone on vent. Cleared out left angle here for the time being. Muffin Loop, maybe this is the perfect timing, especially for that. SCYTHE though knows better. She already passed through way before she was even spotted out. A 4v2 situation. NWJ, SCYTHE right now taking on the lead, taking on the charge here. They do have that judge, but it loses a little bit of that sense if ever it's in a 4v2 situation. Though she still has that double satchel. It could still work out, you know what?
Yeah, but it seems like GE, they've taken the call to just go and save their rifles here. Not really, despite the winning streak that they've had, economy, it's been like a little bit difficult because of the lack of that loser bonus. I think that it's gonna come down to them to hold on to these guns and possibly let SCYTHE walk away with another round. That said though, that round towards heaven was just utter chaos, because if you think about it, it was just ships passing each other in the night. Muffin, she doesn't get detected by the flash, walks through the smoke. Rose gets a kill but immediately gets traded out, and it was just chaos happening in a heaven throughout that time. The fact that SCYTHE was able to find that final kill towards Muffin Loop was kind of what was the nail in the coffin for GE there. That said, GE 5-2 still have a lead, still have some money to work with here, although a couple of their players are going to be forced to play with Sheriffs and Spectres, or, well, Judge and Bucky in this case. I'm just not going to call it.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's an eco buy anymore. Like if I see a shotgun, it's probably just intentional. Totally not an eco situation.
Seen multiple games from other VCTs where, despite having such a big advantage on the money, they still buy the judge. And if it works, it works. Anyway, a new round here. NWJ, it feels like they've actually had a good read on how to understand the situation here, how to wrap around the judges, how to wrap around the shotgun plays that they're doing. Yamori, very low on HP, might be spotted out, but instead she spots out Rose. Now with a double kill, this opens up the site for NWJ, and now plant of the spike on its way.
One enemy remaining.
Kylie is pushing further as
Spike
well. Both the
planted.
duelists from NWJ just ripping apart Global. Now Meow, the only one left. A 1v4 for her. Boombot in hand, not sure where to place it. And Lin on the lurk takes her down, which will let NWJ come back into this with a third round on the board here. 5-3 now. G's economy. It was a little bit of a mixed buy, so they're still going to be able to buy up here. But NWJ, they haven't really used any of their major ults to win the round so far, so they're still gonna have that showstopper and lockdown ready to go. It's GE's turn for a timeout, I do believe, and I think what they really excelled at in those first couple of rounds, where they were able to put together that string of wins, was because they were very proactive about the control they took. In particular, I think Meow's position with the judge, it just ripped apart NWJ's attack before it even begins, and the fact is that GE on the retake so far, they've been looking a little bit shaky.
And you can definitely see for Meow since a while ago that if she's stuck in a bad position after those judge kills, she doesn't need to push out further. She could just reposition, or they could reposition themselves, especially it's still towards a main. But so far, Scythe have been having good reads against the team of GEX. They've been pushing in slowly but surely, even despite that Viper Orb smoke that we were looking at a while ago. At the end of the day, Yamori just needed to wait until one tries to peek, and she had that advantage, the peeker's advantage, because she has been waiting on that smoke since a while ago, despite having 1 HP. Now, it's a complete turnaround of events. It seems like Scythe, they do have that showstopper, they do have that lockdown, and a lot of utility play around it. Paranoia has been set out. This pushes out as well with that pain shell, the enemy lines, but it's still not yet over. They reposition themselves, they try to pick out as much as possible and take info.
Yeah, just patience across the board. No quick plays, as G might expect, and it is causing a little bit more chaos in their own ranks here. Yamori, like you mentioned, still with that showstopper ready to go to be that point of entry if necessary here. And Rose by herself trying her best to hold on towards mid, but she will have to fall back since there it does seem to be heavy presence still around there, and and A Heaven as well looking a little bit more unguarded. That said, though, it seems like speed split has been what has been working out for NWJ, and they're just looking to capitalize off the back of it. Already, Sky Elise almost through into Be Heaven, and it might be a problem for the players on site because there's 3 of them there, and they're going to be surrounded on every side. Showstopper going to be caught right now, but Meow 16k finds that kill to start things off. Sky Elise with the immediate refrag, 3 kills in fact for Sky Elise on site, and it's just going to be
Spike
Rose and
down,
Muffin
B.
Loop holding on
30
here.
seconds
Rose in
left.
fact finding a kill thanks to one of the players taking fall damage, which brings it down to a 2v2. Amy there for the backup as well, and now it seems like the spike itself is going to be headed through CT towards the A side, where I do believe Lin has found it's completely empty.
Yeah, that gives intel, that gives info and the
10
cue
seconds
towards
left.
Oreophilia to use up the ult here as
Spike
well.
plant.
This is an advantage if they get this pick off, but Amy
You should
does
run.
enough damage here. Very low on HP now. Ult versus ult, the Killjoy lockdown versus the Killjoy lockdown. It's
Last
a
player
ceasefire at this
standing.
point, but not for Muffin Loop as she
One
finds
player
one. This
standing.
forces out the players to go out, and Amy to secure the kills here. That big tag towards Lin was the pivotal point of this round.
That was such a nice retake to come out of GE in that 2v2 situation. First of all, despite Sky Elise getting 3 kills, they still managed to bounce back and get a couple for themselves in Heaven. And when it did come down to a 2v2, you could see the awareness that they had the lockdown. They wanted to be sure that nobody got out through main, so the flame came out from Muffin as well. And overall, like you mentioned, that tag, the damage that Lynn did take from Amy towards the end definitely helped to boot. So GE, they're finally gonna be able to get back on the board here after 3 rounds that they lost in a row. And not only that, they're gonna have the Viper's Pit as well as the Showstopper online. And SCYTHE, they invested a lot of their crucial ults in the hope of converting the round, but now that GE won it, they really don't have not much left for a rainy day.
Good snake bite to put a little delay there onto the push, especially after the Trailblazer tagged her out. Shotgun? Is this a dodge? It is. It is in the hands of Rose. Of course it is. Especially in a Viper's Pit like this. Kiri very deep onto B main. NWJ quite unaware of this. They re-smoke it one way, if I'm not mistaken, as they usually do as well. Meow still holding on to that showstopper. Might be big if they need to retake or make a retake happen. But so far, it's just both teams trying to read out what utility, who are the players onto the side, where are they, and how deep can they go into trying to make or taking space.
Well, it seems like GE, they have given up on mid, opting to hold a Heaven instead. Muffin, it's going to come down to the timing here. Spots out the players with the peek, and she will be falling back onto site, opting to play around that Viper's Pit instead.
30
There's still
seconds left.
SCYTHE hanging around, though, in the pit, looking to possibly take it down here. And with the flash and the paranoia, it's going to be the ships crossing in the night once again. Muffin, though, this time won't make the mistake. Takes out SCYTHE. The judge, however, is not going to find too much around him, and Crescent will be left alive. A sliver of HP to work with. Amy still in heaven.
10
Being able to
seconds
find the kill is huge. And while the plant itself comes down, it seems like NWJ, they're surrounded on all fronts here. Amy getting a little bit ahead of herself, will be punished and shut down. It's still going to be a 2v3 situation though, as they keep up the numbers. Seekers online for Muffin. She puts them down to smoke out the positions. And with the showstopper, it's going to be Meow leading the charge. Not going to be connecting the ult though, unfortunately. And it will just be gunfights on site. A 1v2 right now. For Yamori has to try, but she's not taking space of time. It's just now all the way through. And GEX, they find 7.
Despite the showstopper not connecting here, Zach, it still gave them space. It still pushed back NWJ from pushing forward here and from really having that open position or that critical position to take on the kills. Not other than that, the flash, especially from the back ends of the side, this just is wonderful for the side of GEX. They've been working out greatly in the past rounds, not even the past rounds, but even the past match that we just witnessed here. More gelled together, more working through with each other. And if this continues, they might be able to just dismantle NWJ completely. Space created, that's gonna be GEX though, securing and stopping them on their toes.
Yeah, just 2 clean openers, as well as Muffin still holds strong in heaven. Finally taken down, but Meow just there for the trade. It's all down to Lynn, a 1v3 for her. Doesn't have control of the spike either, so she's gonna have to go back towards site first of all. Still, it's gonna be Meow watching the angle, trying to figure out where this player is coming down or not. Still Lynn able to flick onto her head, brings it down to a 1v2. Still has is still looking pretty healthy as well. Now has to just get onto the side somehow. Has a lot of time to work with though. 1v2.
A lot of time to work it, like you said. Will they buy it though? Will GEX try to reposition themselves somewhere different on the map? Lynn, still not sure there's anyone on site. There's no one though. And the slow take coming in from Lynn here might work out in her favor. But Kiri already waiting on to City side. It's just a matter of time. Once they hear that spike being planted, it's the cue for the rest of the players of GEX to move and wrap around. Snake bite being used up through heaven. Quite sure if Lynn actually heard that. That's the kill they're waiting for. They're trying to set it up. They still have a turret. It might be a timing play. And Kiri, though, still there to secure the kill instead. The 2v1 scenario onto a 1v1, but GEX still taking the round.
8-3 now, and it got too close for comfort there. a really nice play to come out of Lin, almost to clutch up that
Last round
1v3.
before the switch.
Excellent positioning throughout, but like you mentioned, just a little bit too much for her to deal with in that situation. GE, they come out on top once again, and now they have a chance to end this half with an overwhelming lead, already guaranteed at least 8 rounds. And for the side of NWJ, they have the Bladestorm to work with. I think that was huge for Sky, at least the last time around, to be able to find those opening picks. They are also close to a lot of these ult snowballing. 2 for the lockdown, 1 for the from the shadows, 1 for the seekers. I think if they can get those ult orbs early on, get a little bit of control across the map, it might be what they need. And for GE themselves, despite winning that round, economically, they're still in a little bit of an awkward spot, which is why you're going to be seeing the Spectre for Amy as well as the Judge for Meow. Well, the Judge, it could just be because the Judge is good, but the Spectre, at least it's probably because of the quality.
With that Roomba, they know there's gonna be someone. But
Oh my
wow, a pixel perfect angle for Yamori to take the smoke. A little bit of a gap there, and widely seen as Muffin Loop. This takes away the capability to take on a flash. Not even that, but the Boombot only saw 1, and that gave info to 1. You're not quite sure how many people are there, or who's gonna be in vents. But other than that, it's already a take right now from NWJ or Ophelia. Despite that alarm bot, it still didn't matter at that point. She was able to pick up on the kill. 5v3 scenario here, Zach.
Bowman ults now to come through from Curie, I believe, possibly looking for a little bit of a flank or some kind of play here. That said, though, it's going to be Ophelia holding it down. Meow with the Judge to find 2 of her own, though, suddenly making this round look a little bit less impossible here. The spike itself, it's gone down, and if Curie can clear out towards main, find this kill on the Crescent, it might be huge here. The swing is there, but the shot still goes Crescent ways. It's going to have to be another ace for Meow to clutch this one out somehow. A 1v3 for her, spots out the position of the first, goes satcheling into sight, and is able to isolate the kill. Now towards Heaven, the shot, the paint shells don't quite connect, the shot doesn't either, and she knows exactly where the players are. That said, it's still a 2v1, and it will be an 8-4 half in G's favor that we're ending on here. Remember though, that was the defensive side for GE. Now it's NWJ's turn. Before we head into it though, let's see what our panel has to say.
Started out 2-0 for GE, Meow 16k with that ace round 2 with the Judge, and GE Phoenix look like they're starting to run away with it.
It really does, and honestly, there's some rounds where it just feels like Scythe is incredibly frustrated in what they're trying to do. For example, I think it was round 11 where they just kind of sent bodies upon bodies despite them having a pretty decent buy and maybe just potentially missing some of the fundamental smokes, for example, just to kind of seal off the fight from Heaven, so on and so forth. But at the moment, it feels like both these teams are just kind of throwing their superstars at each other and hoping that they're gonna outmuscle. But, you know, at the very least, in that last round for Scythe, there was a little bit more movement. They tried to play off a lurk from their Omen. They had, once again, just a little bit more control over their macro. Now, coming into the strong side, though, hopefully they can string a few rounds together just to keep their composure back up, because Global Esports, they look so good right now.
Yeah, absolutely. But Split, you know, as you said, defender sided, there's some leeway for Scythe to come back after the switch, but they are running double duelist, though. What do we think?
I feel like they have to be a little bit more proactive when it comes to the defensive side, and this is the kind of the consequences you're dealing with when you play a comp like this. Not gonna have too much utility when you want to go for those slower shuffles, and you just kind of have to rely on your brawling power.
All right, well, very last half for the very last game. We're gonna find out.
Smokes need to be initiated properly here for our next few rounds that we're looking at. A little bit of a gap here and there, a little bit of a late smoke here and there as well. But let's see, 8-4, not too bad actually for a first half if you think about it on an attack for NWJ.
Exactly. This is Split. This is like the map where the most reverse of Uno reverse cards and sweeps actually happen. So I wouldn't put Global Esports out of the woods quite yet. However, if they can start with a pistol win, it might get them the extra bit of spacing they need to go forward into this, because I think for NWJ's side, they definitely do have a comeback stronger kind of mentality. So I wouldn't put them out of the race by any means quite yet. That said though, GE, look at the holds coming out of them. They're just hanging around towards A, waiting for a possible push. The Trailblazer, it does spot out Amy, but that's usually when you spot a Killjoy, you're going to be assuming that, okay, that's the Lurk
That's
player.
alert. Yeah.
So, yeah, exactly.
Definitely true. You would just assume it's gonna be that one person, but instead, it's actually Rose lurking and trying to sell out B main here or trying to catch someone. But this dog is a catch Crescent. Instead, Sky Elise stuck in a position that she wasn't expecting to see 3 people in. That's gonna be the push already. The Q from the side of NWJ. It's gonna be that beat take, but meow onto your face. That's gonna be the classic shots. Ariophilia will be able to secure the trade though. 3v4 scenario. A little bit low on the HP here for 2 players from GX's side.
I don't think Muffin really invested in the heal either, which is kind of a little bit, which might be a little bit of a mistake, especially if these kills don't go in favor of GE. That said though, they do have one more dark cover to play with, so Kiri might just be able to sit in her own smoke in towards the corner. That said, it's gonna be Kiri with the right click to find the first, Muffin with the second to boot, and now it's Rose on the wraparound to take down that last player, GE. They take the pistol 9-4 now, and it all started with that huge opening pick. Meow 16K just satcheling through and finding those 2 openers. Really, really nice play.
I mean, that's why you get a raise, right? Just to surprise the enemies, just to make that take on the site quite fast and easier for the rest of your teammates to just wrap around and help you out. 9-4 and GEX, like you said, this is exactly the cushion that they need into trying to secure this attack side. Now that they have that money to buy off for the next following round, or next round, which is this one, they do have that Spectres. Amy not upgrading at all, just relaxing a little bit on that as well. But they're moving a little bit slower, maybe expecting some bit of a push or lurk from the side of NWJ. They don't want to give out the guns as well in case they're actually hitting their shots correctly. But Sky Elise is waiting patiently onto ramps as well. They do have that Sheriff, and she's crazy on the Sheriff shots.
I think that if they can at least take a couple of these Spectres out of G's hands, there'll be some decent damage done, which will make their next round look a little bit more easy, for lack of a better phrase. That said though, it's just no noise being made across the board here. Bit of a stack towards mid and B. But A itself, it's just going to be Sky Elise with the Sheriff lying in wait. G themselves, it seems to be where they're approaching to boot. So I think that as long as they use their utility properly to clear it out, it's going to cause less problems than expected. The Poison Orb does come out. You can see Sky Elise deciding whether or not she wants to push through, but she's taking so much DK damage in the process here.
Wow.
And in the meantime, it's Amy to find a kill on the lurk towards mid. First opener to come out for G's side. They have the control of A, and they'll get that flat down. 4v5.
Spike planted.
Good control on that Frenzy, specifically for Amy. Was able to secure the kill onto Lin, but yet again, it's pistols for NWJ. They're waiting patiently to make these utilities work out in their favor. Rose waiting patiently on the corner. The Sheriff shots, like I said. Sky Elise just on point with it. Amy from behind, the lurk of her life. Only managed to pick up on 1 kill. They're already defusing the spike here. Pressure is on. Halfway there. Amy, with just a frenzy, secures the round for the team. That lurk was just... mwah.
I agree. Chef's kiss indeed. And Amy was cooking all right, because without her, I feel like that round, it could have been a done deal for the NWJ squad. The kind of kills that they got, they had 3 on site already, and Amy just coming around like a hero in the nick of time, along with Meow 16K to keep things alive for GE Phoenix. Just huge there. However, that was a decent chunk of damage that side did to the economy for GE. So this bonus round suddenly looking a little bit, actually way more sad here. Just a couple of Spectres to work with. Around that, NWJ definitely have all the cards going into, and they're quick to find an opener.
A round is a round, right? A double-digit scoreline, not too bad. GX will happily accept, despite the disadvantage that we have right now. And Sky Elise, it seems like having her on a duelist role seems to work out better for her in this series that we are looking at. Muffin Loop, no one to spot onto male, but there's someone waiting patiently there. They know that. They take control of vents though.
Yeah, but again, I feel like NWJ, they do have the information. They spotted Meow 16K trying to kind of come up there, so they still have a turret watching that exact angle as well. Pain Shells to come out to try and buy GE a little bit more space here, but they're just gonna regroup as a team, clear out ramps, and make sure that nobody is really around that part of the map. Trailblazer to come out, just spot Sky Elise, or at least the players positioned towards CT here, but GE, they just have almost no space to work with. Sky Elise with another kill, huge opener, just like that. Muffin finally stops the bleeding, taking down Crescent. With so low HP left, it's just gonna be another for Sky Elise. Sky Elise versus the world, it seems like. Just 20 HP for Amy, and it's around that NWJ, they basically have it in the bag. Amy gets one, but that will be that. And NWJ, they win a round on defense.
The Viper Aura was perfectly set up, actually, but seems like not opening it up, instead going for a drive peek here. Didn't work out greatly in the favor of Rose. Other than that, we already mentioned they do have that deficit when it comes to the gun advantage here, and NWJ has that Vandals. Not only that, this time around, they're ready to take out that judge.
Yeah, it's gonna be the judge for Yamori. We saw it in Meow's hands and how effective it was on the defense, so hopes for NWJ are that it's gonna be the same when it comes to their play style. I think that Yamori will be positioning it towards this mid area, watching for the crossover since GE has applied a decent amount of pressure towards this side of the map. That said though, this time around the lure from Amy, it's more towards this B side instead, while GE and the squad, they're looking to hit A, where there is still the Killjoy and the Jet both playing. A lot of utility on site. It might make it difficult for them to push through, but they're still going to be trying. Meow 16K, Satchel's in, taking up the space. Lin alone on site, isolated. It's going to come down to who wins this fight, and Lin will come out on top. So that's going to be the first opener that GE really needed here. And Lin is still holding strong on site between Lin and Yamori. It's a grinder here. Amy finally shuts her down. 2v3 situation. Another one for Amy. And now it's just going to be Amy versus the world. She does have one. She went away from the lockdown, so if she can get that plant down, it might be huge. A lot of wallbang damage, though, to come in here. And she's desperately fighting for her life. Gets another one. The headshot comes in, and it's just her versus Sky Elise. A 1v1 is what we have at the end of it. Sky Elise with the position will take her out in the end. And NWJ, they get to 6. But what a show of heroics to come out of AB.
It's the Killjoy show. Good hold coming in from Lin from the get-go here. It's able to pick up on 2 kills. Other than that, Amy, to survive that long from the pre-fires itself, she was down 25 HP. And if those wallbang shots didn't hit, could have been an opportunity for them. But yet again, you're stuck in a position that you wouldn't like to be stuck in. GX, they do have still that double-digit scoreline, but NWJ is just 4 steps away from catching up.
4 rounds indeed. That's all that stands between them and GE. They're on a bit of an eco as well, so this is NWJ's chance to really close that gap even further. Killjoy Nanoswarm is being put down to try and buy a little bit more space for this GA squad to work with towards B, but it's just so oppressive with the smokes as well as the utility coming down. They're just going to opt to rotate over towards mid instead. It's going to be the Trailblazer. Will catch out Amy. They will know that it's probably just the lurk since she was the only one around there, and it will keep them from moving any of the other positions. Meow with the Bucky looks to open things up here, but instead gets shut down. It's going to be NWJ with 3 kills across the board. In contrast to just 1 coming in. Make that 4 kills across the board. It's just 80 once again. Tries to walk into B, but Oreo with the corner and the off angle ready for it. That's 7 for NWJ.
Good cross, good pressure, especially when it comes to mid. And as we say, the one who controls mid controls the game, especially in a map like Split. Available for them to rotate if you get control, but NWJ won't just give that up quite easily as well. GX though, it's a battle of judges here, Zach, and we do see Meow again. That double satchel shotgun can do a lot. Not only that, she also has a showstopper here available.
Yeah, I think that ult, it might be the make or break situation if it comes down to it. Finally, weaponry online for G as well. They look to go into the site, they take it forward, and they have control. So like you mentioned, I think that Showstopper and that lockdown could be huge in the post plant here. Meow also does manage to take up some space towards CT, so if she can just hold it down with the judge, it might be what they need to buy a little bit more time. Trailblazer coming in, Showstopper popped off the back of it, and it will catch Lynn, but not enough to take her out of the equation. Counter Showstopper available for the side of NWJ here. AD though to find that opener onto Oreophilia. First kill comes in their favor. Immediate trade there from Yamori though. Muffin still chiming in strong. The lockdown comes in as well from the attackers towards main, but it gets immediately shut down here. It's all down to Muffin Loop in a 1v3. She has to do it all here on site. Pins her down, looking for the possible kills. It's gonna come down to the timings on the swings, and despite the low HP, Lynn still takes her down, and just like that, NWJ, that's a huge round. Never mind, it's the timer. GE, they win it out perfectly, 11-7. For a second, I thought that it was over, but you really gotta trust your teammates.
First it was then it was you know, at that point, Muffin Loop, I was actually curious to see like what's she planning to do, especially that the timing actually for NWJ's side isn't in their favor. It was already fast ticking away, and it just goes to show, like, for Muffin Loop, I was expecting her to swing out in the spike instead of elbow around here and wrapping around, but anyway, still worked out in GEX's favor. Not enough time for NWJ, I guess. For the time being, we do have that utilities from Sky Elise. They do have the Blade Storm, but I think they would pull that out instead if ever comes to worse. They have an eco disadvantage. Oreophilia repositions herself here. Might be a one and done position, but it's actually nicely separated by the smoke from the Viper. Oreophilia just holding down the fort here. Goes around, wraps around, but Paranoia settling in. Meow to catch her instead. They move away from the side. Might be the mistake that they're trying to do, but it's a chaos towards the side. They do pop the ult from the Viper. Sky Elise inside the ult finds Meow, but goes down in the hands of Meow instead. 3v2 situation.
Viper's Pit still online as well. Lynn one away from the lockdown, so if she can find a kill through this Viper's Pit, it might be the ult that they really need to push them outside. You can see her just watching as waitfully as possible. Her and Yamori trying to crunch in here, but the Viper's Pit is just so difficult to get through, especially with the tags coming in as they are. It's all down to Yamori. She's at least able to find the first, make some noise on the reload, so that does give away her position. And Meow with the 4K to bring GE to match and series points. One round away from moving on in that lower bracket. And I think GEX, you know, the first map, all of us had our doubts. It was a 2-13 that they lost to, but they have proven to be so incredibly resilient throughout today. The comeback in that second map from 1-5, and now on the third map, just domination in that first half. It's just incredible that this is the same team throughout the day.
A little bit chaotic on the side. It was like deciding, oh, should we go? Oh, should we go back? Oh, yeah, we should go. We do have that Viper's Pit anyway, and Rose was able to set that up perfectly for GX to take. And with that, we are looking at a match point from the first game that we saw, where it seemed like there was no opportunity for GX to really take on the win here. They turn around, momentum shift is definitely there, and they're riding it right now.
Yeah, just they can taste the victory. It's so close to them, Terror, and they just want to close it out here. Because tomorrow it proves to be just as much of a long day, so I'm pretty sure it's getting pretty late for everyone, and they want to put everyone to bed and rest, it seems like. But for now, it's just a bit more of a slow play. No ultimates available for the global side, so they just want to try and convert this off the back of their firepower. Their opponents, though, despite the lower buy, they have so much to work with. Blade Storm for Sky Elise, Lockdown for Lynn, as well as the Seekers for Crescent. So for GE, even if they can't win it out, if they can get a couple of these ults out of contention, it's gonna be huge. Judge still online for Lynn here. Doesn't get spotted out, and it's gonna be so much damage. 2.5 kills already coming in.
Damage has been done. Damage has been set. The Trailblazer not spotting it out. Sky Elise. This is what I was talking about earlier. I think they're gonna pull it out once that the deficit when it comes to the gun advantage is there. They able to secure the triple kill already here. Now down to the 2 players remaining. 12 seconds to plant this spike
10
away.
seconds left.
Here he
enemy
repositions, but
remaining.
Satchel proves to be pain. And this is 4v1. Rose, is it gonna be a save? If we look at the economy on the side of GX, it's not looking great.
Yeah, possibility for NWJ to narrow that lead once again. Like we saw on Haven, they got incredibly close, but weren't able to pull it out all the way. And it seems like it's going to be the case again on this map if they're not careful. So definite heroic plays to come out of Lin there. Just proving to be such a nasty weapon as we've seen already in that previous half. Apart from that as well, NWJ, they were just so aware of the positions that GE could be holding. You could see the stall coming out from Yamori towards Heaven as well, knowing that the clock only had 15 seconds left. With that, GE, they're going to be calling their second timeout. They really want to try and close it out here. Showstopper 1 off for Meow 16K. So if they can take care of that lockdown, they've basically baited out almost every single ult that Scythe had in the previous round. So even if they lost it, it wasn't entirely a complete loss. That said, if they do want to close it out, they got to figure out how exactly they can do it. And looking at the scoreboard here, this has just been a Meow 16K map all the way. 26 and 13. Nice solid 2.0 KDA.
This has been a match that GX seems to control and have full control more than NWJ. For NWJ's side, they do have that lockdown. They do have that cushion to buy off guns as well. Aside from Crescents having or just pulling out a Bulldog here, nevertheless, still a very formidable gun or assault rifle that we have. But for GEX, it's gonna be a plan. They do have that shotgun. They do have also some other utilities, some other guns as well. Let's see how can this work for them.
Mid control being taken here. Sky Elise get the flick onto Amy as well. So that's the opener to start off with for the side of NWJ. Vents control, it has been taken by Meow 16K, but it does seem like NWJ, I don't think we've really seen a rotation through mid and vents coming out of them so far. They've just been using the CT side for that kind of thing. That said, it's completely held. Heaven is held by the crossfire between the Jet and the Killjoy, and B has 3 players surrounding it, just lying in wait, watching. Yamori, at first point of contact, spots out the players, will put down the pain shells to buy even more time, and in fact find a kill. Oreo watching B main will get another, and just like that, GE, it's down to 2 players. Muffin with the Phantom, and Meow with the Judge. They haven't really found too much space on the map, unfortunately, and it's been a bit of a struggle for them.
You do have that
30
heal
seconds left.
or healed up towards the side of Meow. 2v5 situation.
One
At
enemy
least they
remaining.
have the spike. Not now anymore. Of course, or you feel that takes space, takes control, and instead kills them off to a 12-9 scoreline. This is either what our shirt is saying. One more, or is it done and over with? Will someone say bye-bye, or we're gonna be seeing more rounds here? So far, it seems like NWJ is really taking control right now, right?
For sure. I think that for NWJ, they've looked much better over this defensive half, and they've been really able to just push G to the limit on a lot of these rounds here, and they're just 3 away from pushing this to overtime, so it's still definitely a viable strategy for them. That said, G, they're gonna have their full buy once again, as well as a showstopper for Meow 16K, so this is their chance to really close this map out. The only thing that they really have to worry about is that lockdown from Lin, and if they can plant the spike in an open spot, that will take care of that problem to boot. So I think that for GE's side, it's going to come down to who finds these opening picks first. They're just playing for picks, a little bit of more of a default strategy than we've seen from them all game to come out now. And it seems like if they can get the Seekers as well, maybe they'll have it for that next round ready to go. Look to take the fights towards mid. Meow 16K does spot out Sky Elise, the pain shells to push her off the angle to get them a little bit more to work with. It does seem to be the call, and while all of this pressure is being applied on mid and B, Spike itself, it's headed towards A.
I think for this round, for Muffin Lou, there's not enough money to invest on a healing here as well. And for the side of NWJ, they do have that stacked towards
30
A.
seconds
Lots
left.
of utilities being thrown off here, especially with Lin on the site itself. And it seems like with the smoke being put out, it's an A hit. With a showstopper, will this see anyone? It does see Lin, but it doesn't quite connect. SCYTHE takes on one kill here. Lin to fight for her life. Maybe for a double, not enough. That's gonna be Yamori taking on the trade, but doesn't check the corner. And now it's Rose fighting for her life this time around. Seekers out. Muffin Loop left alone. A 3v1 scenario here. Flash shuttles in. Will she able to clutch it like this time around? But it's not gonna happen. NWJ learned from their mistakes a while ago and pushes in. Defuses the spike, and 12-10 it is.
12 to 10 NWJ. We talked about it. They're not giving up on this map quite yet, and their hopes of winning Elite. They are powering through, and now only 2 rounds stand between them and that possible overtime. You can see that Global Esports, all the momentum that they had in the beginning, it's kind of completely slowed down here. You can see these minor mistakes really shining through, and it's kind of why NWJ have also been able to capitalize. For example, this push towards CT, lots of lack of trades for the GE side, and overall NWJ were just able to keep the numbers in their favor. You can also see the adjustments to come out of NWJ. They're opting to play more fluidly around mid, instead just prioritizing site and heaven control, and it's something that GE haven't quite been able to break apart yet. Once again, Economy gotta be in a bit of a dire spot. 5 sheriffs across the board, and no ultimates either for that GE side, because they invested both the Seekers and the Showstopper in that last round.
Common thinking alike here. Smoke after smoke. They just smoked off each other as well. No one pick up the orb right now, or has it been picked up? I think it does, or it was already. Lockdown available for NWJ's side. We do have Lin set up A again this time around. Meow. A little bit of a stun there. They tried to clear out vents as well, but not a definite answer onto where are they gonna take, where are they gonna bring this spike.
Again, they take mid, they find out that there's nobody there, and they decide to go for the A split instead, which they still haven't figured out a way of really dealing with the Jet and Killjoy, who have been playing on site for so many of these rounds. They do have a decent amount of map control though, so it's still possible that they can somehow break through it. It's going to come down to how these trades play out. If SCYTHE and Lin are able to hold on and trade each other out and get the numbers advantage for NWJ, which is likely because of the guns that they have, it could mean that we are going for that possible overtime. Instead, it's going to be the utility to ring out that warning shot. SCYTHE and Lin, they find a couple of kills to start things off here. He's still looking to get on site, and it will just be slaughtered throughout. It's gonna be the sheriff in hand, trying to find something, but a flawless will get NWJ to 11 here. Now, last chance for Global Esports to deny this overtime, but with the ultimates that are in Site's pocket, it's gonna be so important for them to find those first kills before they get onto site at all.
We are just 1 win away from NWJ actually catching up against GX here, Zach. And to be fair, like, you have setups coming in from Lin. You do have that A control. And even or despite Meow pushing in with the satchel, no other player could pass through because of that nano swarm setup, just to delay the other players from trying to make an entry happen. So there's no support at all from there, especially on an eco disadvantage. But this is going to be that final round that we're going to see. Is it going to be an overtime, or is it going to be GEX winning this away and taking this away? Yamori already knows it's going to be. That showstopper is hot, and that's going to hit as well. And first, with that, the repositioning comes in. No trade-offs from the rest of the team. They know how deadly the showstopper can be, but already, Yamori, 2-1, damage has been done.
Rose at least able to find a trade here. Crescent's playing towards main though, with the angle to find both of those kills, and now it's all down to Rose, the IGL. She has to step up huge here to deny the overtime from coming in. And a 1v4, her position noted as well thanks to the flash. It's going to be so difficult, and she spots out Crescent. That's the first position noted here. Has to still be able to find these kills. Gets the second kill to boot. Unfortunate reload timing to come in. The white swing is there, and Crescents will find that final kill. 12-12. It wouldn't be right if we didn't have an overtime today, it seems like. And GEX and NWJ have both decided that they are going the complete distance.
What a
remaining.
comeback here coming in from NWJ's side. It was already in the grasp of GE this entire time. They really had that opportunity, that buffer, the double-digit scoreline since a while ago, but NWJ just wouldn't let it up. They just take 5 rounds consecutively, despite all the eco disadvantages that GEX had, the buy rounds that they had. NWJ just reading them up and reading them like a book in the plays that they want to do and they want to make. And this all boils down right now to the mental fortitude of the teams. This comeback, is it going to make GX stronger, or is it going to make them play a little bit slower this time around?
Not too sure about that. They did have an excellent time on defense, but like you mentioned, it's definitely going to be a confidence drop to be at 12-7 and then lose 5 rounds in a row for your opponents to bring it to overtime. It's gotta hurt. So they're gonna have to reset and figure out how to work things out here. I think it's gonna come down to whichever team can win their attack round successfully, because both of them looked pretty good on their defensive side. So I think that NWJ, with that side swap coming in, if they can win this round somehow, it's going to definitely set them up for success in that next one, because they just came out of playing defense and they probably have GE's measure noted down already. They look to put pressure towards this A site as the rotation comes around, and for GE, it's Amy as well as, I believe, Muffin Loop holding on to the site itself. Beautiful flash timing from Muffin, does get the information towards CT here. However, it's still going to be a player alone towards Heaven and Scythe. The Molly's melting SCYTHE alive, although she still remains alive here. And the damage is being done. Muffin towards Heaven, finds Yamori. That's the lurk taken down. While Scythe itself is taken, GE, at least they have the numbers advantage. 4v5 and GE on the retake.
They do have that number advantage when it comes to that manpower as well. It is a 5v4. It's so far Sky Elise full on the HP again. No armor though for this time around. They do have that smoke towards Heaven. And this would be that retake that GX wants to take on if they want to take that lead. But Crescent was able to catch one already. Ophelia as well. 1 by 1. GX seems to falter down. It's all up to Rose right now. In a 1v3 scenario, she must take this pick. But instead, Crescent's to shut her down. NWJ onto a match point here,
Switching
Zach.
sides.
A complete turnaround of
point.
events.
What a comeback to come out of them. Remember, 12-7, and now they're 13-12. They have the lead again. Match and series point for NWJ. 1 round away from eliminating Global Esports in this lower bracket. Timeout now to be called by GE Phoenix once again here in this overtime. They really don't want to let this go after the amount of perseverance that we've seen out of them, but they're gonna have to figure out a way to break apart NWJ's defense, because they have failed in those last 5 rounds, and this time around they're not going to be having any of those ultimates either to work with to try and buffer for it.
They really need this timeout badly, either to reset, not only that, to talk about especially what are the next plans, what are the next steps for GEX if they want to make another overtime here. But for NWJ, they do have that upper hand advantage. And on defense itself, so far from the rounds we've seen, from the comeback that we've seen that they had in the defense as well, it seems like they have good control. They have good read so far from GEX. And this time around for GEX, they have to do something different. Sometimes it all just boils down to those little mistakes that we have from the rounds, from the teams that we are looking at. Might be that dog from a while ago, might be a little peek towards that angle on a smoke. That little mistake can turn everything around for both of the teams.
Yeah, I think those pixel angle picks that we've seen coming out of NWJ's side have definitely proven to be horrendous so far. Again, this just G walking into the crossfire here. Lin and Sky Elise, they've proven to be impossible to take down in the past, and they continue to be a thorn in G's side. Now just one player left, and suddenly, just like that, it is going to be G's hopes demolished here as NWJ side takes them down in overtime. 2-1. They're going to be moving on in that lower bracket. Incredible resilience to come out of the NWJ side, because remember, they were 7-12 there, Terror. They bring it all the way back to overtime and they take it through. What a performance we see to come out of them.
comeback is definitely real. That slight adjustment coming in from the team of Scythe, the Killjoy, instead of playing on site, still played on Flower Pot instead, completely changed everything. You saw the Rays trying to jump in on her on the side because she was expecting for that kind of scenario, but it was a complete turnaround. Again, this is a comeback, and it was possible. Scythe made it possible. The resiliency, the mental fortitude is definitely there. And GX, though, this time around will be the team that would say goodbye for the time being. But Scythe moves forward in the lower bracket. I'm excited to see what are the matches next or tomorrow and the next following days, how this would turn around. But to actually break down what happened on the series that we had for today, I'll pass it on to our panelists. We do have Ray Ref Chu to take it away.
Scythe, against all odds, against all the deck pauses in the world, to silence the competition and knock GE Phoenix out of the competition. Things looked really iffy there for a sec in map number 2 in the first half of Split, but I didn't doubt them for a second. Did you, Raph?
Well, I did pick Scythe at the beginning of the series, so obviously no, never. And you know, I have to commend both these teams for what it's worth. Both of them incredibly resilient, really going for the marathon that I feel like we haven't really seen too much of in our elite, playoffs. And yeah, it's just a little unfortunate that GE have to exit our field of battle. Just, I would still say relatively early. We still have a few more days left, and I feel like there were also a lot of global esports fans that were expecting quite a bit from their squad, but I feel like you can't be any happier with their performance too, because they really did try and stick it up till the end.
Oh, 100%, especially like, you know, the 13-10 on Haven and map number 2. This one, 14-12 to lose in overtime has got to be gut-wrenching. Meow 16K though, like just coming up huge for her squad, 26-19 this time around. On Rays getting the first ace that we saw today as well in that round. Number 2 being an absolute menace on that judge. Also on Split. And I mean, my heart goes out to the GE Phoenix girls, right? Because they went through so many roster changes throughout the year, went through roster changes right before Elite as well. They just managed to squeak into Elite in 6th place, didn't need to play in the last chance qualifier. I believe their highest place finish this year was also that 4th place in Open 2. And man, this series was so close. GE Phoenix are such a mainstay and game changers, APAC, and I really hope we see them back next year.
That is true, and you know, with that being said, Scythe is also a very, very similar story. Perennial 3rd, 4th type of team that really still looking for something to push them over. But with today's performance, if they can continue this type of grit and stamina, then they're gonna prove to be a bit of a problem for everybody ahead of them. And you know, Sky Lee is taking the MVP for this map. Man, you know, like, she really turned up when her team needed her the most.
Yeah, and I just love the Scythe storyline also, right? Because they played overtime, they played last chance qualifiers last year, they didn't make it into Elite this year. They've made it here, they've made it. I mean, they did drop down to the lower bracket, but you know, they're through day 4 into day 5 for tomorrow. And that's the thing, right? Because this match, the earlier series that we saw today was like the 7th to 8th place fight, and this time it's like the 5th to 6th place battle, and Scythe just showing that they've got what it takes. They're absolutely in the top 6 over here at Elite. And yeah, I mean, these girls, this team also has been through a lot. They lost their sponsor big earlier on in the year as well. Another squad that is such a mainstay in the league. So I mean, we would have been happy regardless of which team made it, and it was so close.
It was really close. I mean, I feel like that's something that we haven't really expounded upon, but you know, the thing is, especially in that last game, I feel like there was quite a few things we could have asked for a little bit more for both the squads. You know, it felt like the set play was not very present anymore, so it was basically a battle of who is gonna give up. And again, there was quite a bit of a refusal for anybody on any roster, but to take a look at the bigger picture here, SMG in full
Ooh,
sense
boy.
on early rematch apparently.
I mean, tomorrow's schedule is going to be absolutely packed. I think we are starting in the afternoon for tomorrow. We're going to start off with the RRQ versus Nick Kyose
Let's go, Fifi.
match. Sophie, you got this, come on! And then the Orangutan game versus Scythe NWJ will be the second series, and then SMG versus Full Send Sapphire in the upper bracket semis to close things out. So absolutely packed schedule going on tomorrow, and I mean, it's as if the teams that played today didn't have it hard enough, right? Like both Nick Kyose and Scythe NWJ had to fight so hard to win their series 2 and 1, but then tomorrow they go up against RRQ, they go up against OGX, and that's going to be an uphill battle for both of these squads. Whew.
I feel like I say this every stage we get, but the later the days are, the harder the competition becomes, and the more our teams improve and evolve, and tomorrow is no different, I feel like. Or not tomorrow, later, actually.
Oh, yeah. We kind of did that thing where we started the broadcast on day 4 and then we're ending the broadcast on day 5, but that's gonna be it for us for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for day 4 of the VCT Game Changers APAC Elite from 4 or 5, you know? Yeah. And then from Raph and I here on the desk, plus your casters from today, Tabor and Zach. Today's games definitely went the distance, but if you'd like to see more, then we'll see you back here again tomorrow.
Show me what you got. Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up.